Chapter 310. In the Likuan Palace, Ning Fan gave the order and immediately went into seclusion. From today onwards, Qing Xian will be in charge of Dragon Burial City, Gue Chen will be in charge of Likuan Palace, Chao Kong will be in charge of Gue Xiong Pass, and Zhong Mu will be in charge of Nanlao Kingdom. Follow my orders and erect a statue of me in your respective passes. Worship me day and night. Disperse. This order made the surrendered generals look at each other in dismay. Everyone had been planted with demonic seals, and their lives were no longer in their control. They had thought that after being used, it would be difficult for them to escape death. However, from the looks of it now, not only would their masters not die, they would even be appointed as the leaders of the various great powers. The Honorable Lord actually didn't kill us. We are really, really lucky, but why did the High Lord specifically instruct us to build a temple to worship him? Even if we want to erect a statue, we should erect a statue of the Honorable Lord. Why do we have to erect a statue of this unfamiliar young man? Why do we care about all this? My Lord has taken over the South Sea and is already invincible. We just need to follow his orders. Don't offend him. Of course, none of them knew that Luo Yu was the one who suggested the erection of the temple statue. The star spirits could not be brought out of the Star Palace's territory. If Ning Fan takes away the star of the Celestial Emperor, no one knew what would happen to the Star Palace. In short, this group of forces could not be taken away, and it was even more impossible for them to be used as fighters in the outside world. Therefore, Luo Yu's suggestion was to let the people of the Star Palace worship Ning Fan's statue. That way, even if they could not control the Star Palace in the end, there would still be a golden statue of Ning Fan that the sea beasts would worship as long as the palace was not destroyed. As for Ning Fan, he could use his natal golden man to collect the Joss Flame power. There were 3 types of immortals: Celestial Immortal, Demonic Immortal, and Demonic Immortal. The 3 clans each had their own cultivation system, and the cultivation of Shinto required devouring the power of incense, refining it into magical energy, or tempering the body. Apart from this, incense also had many other wonderful uses. Incense could be used to refine pills or as a trump card to kill enemies. Outside the secret chamber, Ning Fan waved his palm and took out a golden man. Its appearance was exactly the same as the real Ning Fan. In the future, all the people who erected Ning Fan's golden statue and worshipped him would turn their faith into the power of incense and gather on the golden statue. I still feel that it's a waste not to bring this batch of star spirits out of the Star Palace. There's nothing we can do about it. Who asked this Star Palace to be condensed by the Heavenly Emperor? If you obtain the star of the Heavenly Emperor, you might be able to condense your own Star Palace. However, that Star Palace is destined to be unable to connect with this place, and it is also unable to support the survival of the star spirits here, Luo Yu replied lazily. Ever since she had saved the beautiful woman, this woman seemed to have become very interested and was no longer sleeping. There are many sea beasts here. With you around, even if you leave, no one in the Southern Star Sea would dare to touch you. There were probably more than 100 million sea beasts in the Southern Star Sea, and most of them were pellet beast experts. With 100 million gold core and above worshipping you, your speed of collecting incense is even faster than ordinary life immortals. Is that so? Forget it. Although this group of forces is strong, they had to submit to my devil prowess. I can leave them outside, but I don't feel at ease bringing them along with me. Fortunately, I have collected more than 300 desolate beasts' demon souls. With the puppet raising technique, I can upgrade my divine transformation realm puppets. Once I completely refine the goo poison and demon blood, my strength will rise to another level. Ning Fan did not say anything else. He kept the golden statue and the origin jade. Hei Teng, the stone warrior and the refined corpses were also kept into his storage pouch. It was time to return to the Star Island. However, before I leave, I still have some troublesome matters to deal with. After putting away his expression, Ning Fan pushed open the stone door of the secret chamber and took a step inside. Immediately, the sound of water flowing could be heard from within the secret chamber. He saw she ran rolling up her sleeves. She was wiping the body of an unconscious beautiful woman with her bare arms. After all, she was the princess of the profound medicine clan. She Ran's Tao of medicine and pill refinement mastery were extremely brilliant. With the help of the medicine, the bleeding of the woman's heavy injuries had stopped a little. At this moment, Shi Ran was wiping the body of the beautiful woman. The woman's clothes were half undone and she was unconscious on the bed. After wiping the blood stains off her body, she looked like an exquisitely carved white jade beauty. Her plump breasts were fair and supple. As Shi Ran wiped them with the towel, they even trembled slightly. She had smooth skin and a flat abdomen. Under the cover of her skirt, a dense forest could be vaguely seen under her abdomen. Her legs were slender and long, making one's imagination run wild. However, as soon as Ning Fan entered, Shi Ran immediately cried out in surprise. She stopped wiping the woman and lifted the thin blanket at the side to cover the beautiful woman's body. Liu Bei. Can't you have some self-awareness? You are a man. A man. You know that I am wiping this sister's body but you still barged in. Do you know that if you see her naked body, she will be like me? She won't be able to get married. Oh. You won't be able to get married? I thought you would want to marry me. Who? Who wants to marry you? I don't. I don't. Besides, even my father didn't agree to it. Shi Ran's tone was a little messy. Is that so? In other words, if your father agrees to marry me, you will be very willing to marry me? I. Shi Ran couldn't utter a single word of objection. However, she did not dare to nod her head. She was such a well-behaved girl. When she gets married, she must follow the orders of her parents and relatives. Seeing Shi Ran's embarrassment, Ning Fan stopped teasing her and shifted his gaze to the beautiful woman. Even if they were separated by a thin blanket, Ning Fan's Fuli demon eyes were extremely powerful. Whether you are wearing clothes or not, whether you are covered with a blanket or not, Ning Fan could see through everything with just a single glance. The woman fell into the South Sea with a realm beast. The demon core of that realm beast was kept by Ning Fan. The demon blood was kept by Ning Fan. As for the corpse, he hid it in the Yuanya world. The scales, bones, and horns of this 100,000 zhang tall gigantic beast were the best materials for refining weapons. According to Luo Yu and Shi Ran, the realm beast was a unique demon beast in the void of the four heavens. It lurked in the void and rarely attacked experts at the 7th level of the cultivation realm. Instead, it loved to attack immortals and devour their blood to refine its body. Since it could devour immortals alive, there was no doubt that the realm beast was strong. The reason why immortals did not dare to descend to the lower worlds was not only because of the realm law but also because of the realm beast. Being able to kill a realm beast, this beautiful woman was undoubtedly a peerless expert. She was not weak even among the true immortals. Even though she was an expert, the realm beast's attack was not weak. Her injuries were definitely not ordinary. However, Shi Ran managed to stabilize her injuries in just a day. It was enough to show how powerful her Tao of healing was. However, even though her injuries were stabilized, there were 2 seals in her body that completely sealed her cultivation base. One of them seemed to be set up by her. Most likely, it was to seal her cultivation base to the void fragmentation realm to avoid the realm beast's attack. However, she was still attacked by the realm beast even after her cultivation base was sealed. If she was not plotted against by someone, she would be extremely unlucky. The other seal was planted by the realm beast's magic technique. This seal directly restricted her cultivation base to the nascent soul realm, forcefully suppressing her cultivation base by 3 great cultivation realms. It was enough to show how terrifying the realm beast's seal was. What was more troublesome was that the realm beast's seal also hid a trace of extremely secretive poison. This poison should not belong to the realm beast. Instead, it was specially refined and planted on the realm beast's body by a cultivator. This trace of poison made Ning Fan speculate that the possibility of someone plotting against her after she was attacked by the realm beast was higher. However, the person who plotted against her must be a peerless true immortal. Ning Fan was not willing to provoke such a person for the time being. He was also not in the mood to find out why the beautiful woman was plotted against. He only promised Luo Yu that he would save her. As for other matters, he did not want to ask about them. Of course, he still wanted to help her to the end. Hence, he still had to help her get rid of the poison. Why aren't you going out yet? I still need to continue wiping this elder sister's body. She wrung the towel and urged him. If I go out, she will die. There is still a trace of remnant poison in her body which is hidden very deeply. Ning Fan walked to the front of the bed and lifted the thin blanket as if he had made up his mind. Immediately, the flawless snow-white body of the beautiful woman reappeared in front of him. Pervert. I've already diagnosed her. She is not poisoned. You're lying. You just want to peep at her. She immediately covered her eyes. Her small face had already turned red. She had forgotten that the one who should cover her eyes was Ning Fan, not her. Can you see how many seals she has been afflicted with? Ning Fan placed his palm on the beautiful woman's lower abdomen. The cold and tender feeling made his mind flutter. However, his mind immediately turned solemn. 1. Is it the seal of the realm beast? It's 2. She even sealed one on herself. Ordinary people can't see that seal. The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye shone brightly. The Fu Li eye could see through all illusions. Naturally, he could see through the double seals on the beautiful woman's body. It was not strange that she could not see it. The magic power flowed from his palm into the beautiful woman's lower abdomen. This process lasted for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, dense and mysterious patterns suddenly appeared on the fair and flawless body of the beautiful woman. On her forehead, a silver formation pattern appeared. It was the seal that the beautiful woman had set up herself. On her delicate body and under her half-exposed clothes, there were terrifying blood-red formation patterns everywhere. As the formation patterns appeared, they gave off a foul stench. These formation patterns were planted by the realm beast. There are actually 2 layers of seals. Moreover, the rotten stench in the realm beast's seal is the immortal decaying poison. She was so shocked that she could not close her small mouth. As it turned out, Ning Fan was right to lift the blanket and stare at the beautiful woman. This beautiful woman was really poisoned. However, she could not imagine why such a terrifying immortal decaying poison would appear on the beautiful woman's body. A single drop of the immortal decaying poison is even more precious than the Tao fruit of the last immortal. It can kill ordinary immortals. If it wasn't for this woman's extremely powerful cultivation base, she would have died the moment she was poisoned. The person who could raise a realm beast and use the immortal decaying poison to harm others must have a powerful background. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He could vaguely feel that he had gotten himself into another trouble the moment he saved this woman. However, if he had to start all over again, he would still choose to save this woman because it was related to Luo Yu's request. How is it? Can you cure her of the poison? In the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu's tone was a little nervous. Don't worry. Ning Fan did not say much. He sat on the bed and carried the beautiful woman up, placing her on his knees. Then, he patted his storage pouch and took out a token that was sparkling and translucent like jade. The Poison King's token. This token had a miraculous effect in detoxifying poison. However, Ning Fan was not confident that it could completely cure the beautiful woman. With a point of his finger, the Gu King token turned into a small jade that was around an inch long. He parted the beautiful woman's lips and placed the jade on the tip of her tongue. When his finger touched the smooth and cold tip of her tongue, Ning Fan's mind was shaken again. Even though he managed to calm himself down after a short while, he was still a little surprised this time. This woman's cultivation method was undoubtedly the profound sex-righteous Tao. However, her physique seemed to be filled with a strange charm. Even though Ning Fan had cultivated his yin-yang transformation to the second level, he could barely resist her charm. Is this the seventh spirit body that Luo Yu mentioned? What exactly is the seventh spirit body? As soon as the Gu King token was placed in her mouth, the beautiful woman's complexion immediately turned better. The blood-red poisonous thread near her neck began to spread downwards. However, when it reached the top of her breasts, it stopped flowing. Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. The Gu King token was not weak. However, it was still not enough to eliminate all the poison just by placing it in the beautiful woman's mouth. Unfortunately, the beautiful woman was currently unconscious and could not control the power of the token to eliminate the poison in her body. What should I do? It seems like the poison has only been pushed below her chest. It hasn't been completely eliminated yet. Seeing that a peerless beauty was about to be killed by the corrosive poison, Shi Ran could not help but pity the beautiful woman a little. Force the token to her entire body. Ning Fan placed his finger on the beautiful woman's lips and channeled his magic power into it. The token turned into an ice-cold light thread and spread throughout the beautiful woman's body. His fingertip moved down from the beautiful woman's lips and slid across her soft neck, collarbone, and the softness of her chest. The ice-cold light thread filled her entire body. The painful expression on the beautiful woman's face immediately melted. Under the pursuit of the light thread, the poison slowly disintegrated. Ning Fan's fingertip had almost touched the entire upper body of the beautiful woman. Ning Fan's breathing began to become messy. The charm of this woman's physique was too terrifying. It almost made him lose his mind. Once he loses his mind and has intercourse with this woman, there would only be one ending for him. His body would explode and he would die. As the poison disintegrated, the blood threads on the beautiful woman's body began to gather towards her lower abdomen. Gritting his teeth, Ning Fan placed both of his hands on the beautiful woman's ankles and pressed them towards her calves. Ning Fan lifted her palace dress and his hands went into her dress. Then, he inwardly swore that he had offended her. His fingertip penetrated the beautiful woman's tender body and forcefully injected his finger force into it. Under the pressure of his last finger, all the poison was concentrated on the beautiful woman's lower abdomen, forming a palm-sized seal formation mark. The seal was still there but the poison had completely disappeared. However, as Ning Fan's last finger moved, something even more troublesome happened. When the poison on the beautiful woman's body was completely disintegrated, Ning Fan's finger force touched her entire body. Eventually, when his finger touched her soft lips, she let out a moan and woke up with a blurry look in her eyes. However, as the beautiful woman woke up, a strong seductive force assaulted Ning Fan and she ran. The purple mist rolled and pulled Ning Fan and she ran into the phoenix tent. Ah! She ran cried out in surprise. When she was engulfed by the purple mist, her eyes immediately became blurry. She already had a good impression of Ning Fan. At this moment, she felt numb and itchy all over her body. It was as if only by embracing Ning Fan's embrace could she feel more comfortable. As for the beautiful woman, her eyes became blurry and her consciousness was already in a mess. Even though her cultivation base was sealed, her seductive force was at the standard of a shedding void realm true immortal. The beautiful woman whose clothes were half undone had sweat on her temples and her phoenix hairpin was messy. When she saw Ning Fan, she found it hard to control her emotions and thought that it was just a wet dream. Ever since my husband died in battle and Man Heir was born, it has been 1,000 years since I had a wet dream. A wet dream. Why is this dream so real? I can actually see his face clearly. I'm really a shameless woman. I actually dreamed of a divine transformation realm young man. If it's just a dream. If it's just a dream, the beautiful woman's willpower began to weaken. If it was an ordinary wet dream, she could use her magic power to destroy it. However, the dream this time was so real. She tried to unravel the dream but she could not break free from it. I can't break free, huh? Is this going to be my first time letting loose in a dream? The beautiful woman felt that there was a strange power in Ning Fan's body that was calling out to her. Her lower body was already wet. She untied her robes and eventually, she completely lost her willpower and fell into Ning Fan's embrace. If it's just a dream, even I am qualified to love someone. The beautiful lady moved her lips closer to Ning Fan's face and cupped his face in her hands. My name is Yuan Yao. Lang Jun, what's your name? Lu Bei. Ning Fan tried his best to restrain himself. This purple mist was too powerful, it made his yin-yang locket show signs of losing control. However, when the beautiful woman's tender lips approached him, he could no longer restrain himself. It just so happened that at this moment, Shi Ran, who was in a trance, pressed her not-so-plump chest against Ning Fan's back and rubbed it against his back. Her slender arms wrapped around Ning Fan's neck and her smooth tongue blew a delicate fragrance into Ning Fan's ears. Lu Bei, I feel terrible. What should I do? Roar. Ning Fan could no longer endure it. This purple mist was too domineering. If he does not have intercourse with it, not to mention the two ladies, even he himself would die. It was fine for him to dual cultivate with Shi Ran, but he must never pluck this beautiful woman. Just a drop of her primordial yin was enough to make his body explode. Silly brother, there's still the rear court, the rear court. Luo Yu teased. The beautiful woman's life was no longer in danger, so Luo Yu was relieved. However, when she saw that the beautiful woman was about to be occupied by Ning Fan, she felt that it was very interesting and cunning. She is a famous flower. Moreover, she is a famous flower whose owner is already dead. Silly brother, after you occupy her body, almost no one in the 4 heavens and 9 worlds will dare to provoke you. But Luo Yu's smile became even more cunning. She really wanted to see how awkward it would be for Ning Fan to face both Bei Xiaoman and the beautiful woman at the same time. Silly brother, I'm afraid you are going to defy the heavens this time. This Yuan Yao is Bei Xiaoman's mother. It was impossible for Luo Yu to tell Ning Fan about this. She liked to watch complicated soap operas. She was very bored. Chapter 311. Inside the secret room, it was filled with endless moans and moans for the entire night. Ning Fan sat in front of the bed. His head still hurt a little. Looking at the two women who were entangled with each other on the bed, his expression was complicated. This time, he still retained half of his rationality. He did not let Shi Ran, who had lost her virginity, suffer too much. Instead, he let this little girl reach her climax several times. The bloodstains on the bed were the price Shi Ran had to pay for her pleasure. This little girl will never be able to get married this time. As for that beautiful woman, Ning Fan did not do anything to her. Instead, he just let her penetrate the bottom of the bed. Looking at the woman's swollen buttocks with traces of blood, Ning Fan rubbed his forehead. I'm afraid I've gotten myself into a huge trouble. This woman was not a virgin, but since he had taken her bottom, her chastity was also lost in his hands. Lost World Palace. If this woman is Bei Li and Bei Xiaoman's elder sister, she must be either the eldest or the second eldest. I wonder if this woman is already married. Judging from the fact that she is no longer a virgin, could it be that she is a fickle woman? Ning Fan had misunderstood Yuan Yao. How is she an unchaste woman? If she gave birth to 4 daughters and is still a virgin, that would be strange, all right. At this moment, Ning Fan still did not realize how ridiculous and serious the incident that happened tonight was. However, inside the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu was already choking on her laughter. Silly little brother, you've gotten yourself into trouble. Do you know who she is? Who is she? Do you want to know? If you want to know, then use the mind-reading technique on me. Luo Yu was smiling like a pear blossom in the rain. She just had to keep him in suspense. The difference between their cultivation bases was too big. Ning Fan could not use the mind-reading technique on her at all. Coincidentally, Shi Ran woke up at this moment. She rubbed her drowsy head. Her eyes were still filled with painful and joyful tears. She yawned lazily and got up from the bed. However, she immediately felt a tearing pain in her lower body. Ah! After the pain, the little girl was dumbfounded. Why am I naked? Why is my butt so painful and bleeding? What did I do? What did I do with Liu Bei yesterday? I can't remember. It's so confusing. I only remember that I was poisoned by the purple mist. I was so bold. I hugged Liu Bei and kissed him here and there and, I can't get married. She pulled the thin blanket to cover her swollen red breasts and looked at Ning Fan angrily. Every word of hers was filled with resentment. I won't marry off. Who asked you to bite me yourself? Look, there are bite marks all over my hands and neck. Don't say anything, don't say anything. You took advantage of me, and now you're accusing me. Shi Ran's little face flushed red. She couldn't wait to find a hole to hide in. Even though she didn't want to admit defeat, she still vaguely remembered that not only were these teeth marks left by her, but also many other places on Ning Fan's body. In the end, he seemed to have eaten something hot with his mouth. If father knew, he would definitely scold me to death. She was worried about something that wasn't worth worrying about. Silly girl, Ning Fan shook his head helplessly. Stupidity was innate. No medicine could cure it. Holding Shi Ran's palm, he channeled in strands of magic power and harmonized Shi Ran's blood and qi. In an instant, he was shocked. Be it magic power, demon power or devil qi, the speed of their circulation had doubled compared to before. Her cultivation base did not improve, but her immortal veins had become wider and tougher. My cultivation method has improved. Ning Fan's expression changed. His eyes were filled with astonishment when he looked at his dantian. He couldn't help but be shocked. After just one night of pleasure, his yin-yang transformation had advanced to the peak of the 9th level of the 2nd level. Just one more step and he would be able to enter the 3rd level. Then, he would be able to open the profound yin world and release Luo Yu. You noticed? Your yin-yang transformation is about to reach the minor accomplishment realm. The effect of this beauty's rear isn't bad, right? Luo Yu said with envy. Minor accomplishment realm, there were 10 levels of yin-yang transformation. The first 3 levels were only considered minor accomplishment realm. The grade of this cultivation method was too high. Therefore, it was extremely difficult to improve it. In the past, Ning Fan spent a lot of effort to break through the 1st and 2nd level of the cultivation method. Today, just because he had sex with that beautiful woman in her rear, his cultivation method was about to break through the 3rd level. What is this woman's cultivation base exactly? She actually has such a strong primordial yin qi. Besides, I have a feeling that the improvement of the cultivation method this time isn't just the grade but also the essence of the cultivation method. Of course. Didn't I tell you? She has the 7 spirits body. This time, your intimate contact with her allowed this fire steel to complete the 1st spirit. Luo Yu muttered to herself. In short, she was very happy. However, when Ning Fan saw the improvement of his cultivation method, he obviously should be happy but he could not. He had violated the rear of such a powerful woman. How could he have a good ending? This beautiful woman was not Shi Ran. She was not someone who could be dismissed with just a few words. Just as he was deep in thought, a cold gaze landed on Ning Fan's back. It was like a sharp sword that pierced him, making him feel cold all over. At the same time, an embarrassed, angry and miserable voice resounded coldly in the secret chamber. Give me an explanation within 3 sentences. Otherwise, die. Boom! At this moment, a terrifying killing intent spread across 100,000 li of the Kun Palace. Within 100,000 miles, all the sea beasts that were immersed in this murderous aura were terrified. Gue Chen and the other divine transformation realm experts were still cleaning up the aftermath of Ning Fan's massacre in the Sea of Stars. At this moment, when they sensed the terrifying killing intent in the hall, all of them suddenly stood up and looked at the direction of the secret chamber in the Kun Palace. Revered Lord's killing intent is so strong. This is definitely not something a divine transformation realm expert should possess. It is also not something a void refinement realm star lord should possess. Revered Lord is indeed extraordinary. He actually has such a terrifying killing intent. Gue Chen and the other divine transformation realm experts became even more respectful to Ning Fan. A few of them who were scheming against Ning Fan also gave up on the idea of betraying him. In front of this killing intent, even a void fragmentation realm old monster was insignificant and lowly. She still did not feel anything. She just covered her chest and looked at the beautiful woman pitifully. She thought to herself. No wonder this elder sister is so angry. After all, she was humiliated by Liu Bei and can't get married anymore. Only Ning Fan knew that this beautiful woman was not joking at all. She needed an explanation. An explanation that would allow her to spare Ning Fan's life. 3 sentences. She only gave Ning Fan 3 sentences. When I woke up, I found out that my rear was violated. What is going on? Yuanya wanted to cry but she had no tears. She originally thought that everything was just a wet dream. However, she did not expect that she would lose her virginity when she fell in love for the first time in her wet dream. If it wasn't for the memories of this wet dream and knowing how active she was in her wet dream, Yuanya would definitely want to slap Ning Fan to death. 3 sentences. Give me a reasonable explanation. She was crying but she stubbornly held back her tears. You were being chased by a realm beast and I saved you. The first sentence. The anger in Yuan Yao's eyes subsided slightly. She did remember that she had spent a lot of effort to break that strange maze formation and kill a realm beast. After that, she seemed to have fallen into the void storm with severe injuries. At that time, she did seem to have been saved by someone. So it was Ning Fan who saved me. This person saved me and I am grateful to him. However, this is not a reason for him to take the opportunity to violate me. You were poisoned by the decaying immortal poison. I helped you detoxify it. The second sentence. Yuan Yao's cold expression changed. The decaying immortal poison. It can't be wrong. Ning Fan is not lying. When Yuan Yao circulated her magic power, she immediately felt that there was still a trace of residual poison in her body. It was indeed the decaying immortal poison. This kind of poison does not belong to the realm beast. If that is the case, it is strange that I was attacked by the realm beast when I sneaked into the lower realm. Why would there be the decaying immortal poison when the realm beast attacked me? Could it be that this realm beast was used by someone to ambush me? Yuan Yao's heart softened a little. When I was trapped in the void storm, it was Ning Fan who saved me. When I was poisoned by the decaying immortal poison, it was Ning Fan who saved me. He had saved me twice. Even if he took my virginity, it could only be considered as canceling out the grudges between us. The third sentence is that you used the purple mist to bewitch me and seduce me to have sex with you. Ning Fan told her the truth. However, this truth made Yuan Yao feel like dying. You don't talk nonsense. Big brother Liu Bei is not lying. It was you. It's all your fault. If you didn't use the purple mist to bewitch me, I wouldn't have done such things with big brother Liu Bei. Without hesitation, she pulled up the thin blanket and covered her chest. She stood under the bed and stood on Ning Fan's side. Even if it's true, I just thought that it was a dream. Yuan Yao's killing intent was completely extinguished. She closed her eyes in pain. I have been cautious all my life. I never thought that I would do such an inhumane thing after giving birth to 4 daughters. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't, the spring dream was gone but the reality was too hurtful, that's right. I used the purple mist to bewitch this young man and woman. Not only did I lose my virginity, I even implicated she and made her lose her virginity. Yuan Yao's purple lust spiritual body made her very clear about how powerful her bewitching technique was. Ning Fan was bewitched by her bewitching technique and humiliated her. She could not blame him for acting rashly. He just saved her twice out of kindness. I am the sinner. What reason do I have to blame Ning Fan? Clear tears fell from Yuan Yao's eyes. Her expression was bitter and it made Shiran's heart soften. All right. I won't blame you anymore, but I blame myself. It's too absurd. Yuan Yao was indeed a heroine. Even though her heart was filled with pain, she quickly calmed down. She looked at Ning Fan. Her voice was very pleasing to the ears. It also contained a mature and noble temperament. I am very satisfied with your explanation. Don't worry. As long as you keep your mouth shut and don't tell anyone about what happened last night, I will not harm you. You are Liu Bei, right? You have saved me twice. I should at least give you some benefits as a reward. Only then did Yuan Yao notice that her clothes were tattered and her storage pouch was nowhere to be found. It seemed like it was blasted into the void by the realm beast. Immediately, she revealed a look of shame. With her status, she actually could not repay a Divine Transformation Realm Junior for saving her life. If word got out, she, Yuan Yao, would no longer have a foothold in the northern heaven. I'm sorry. I lost my storage pouch. I will teach you a secret technique. As long as you cultivate diligently for 1,000 years, I guarantee that you will be invincible below the void fragmentation realm. Yuan Yao's eyes were filled with stubbornness. She waved her hand and a blank jade slip on the table far away flew into her hand. She imprinted something on it with her spirit sense and threw it to Ning Fan. What she did last night was too shameful. Today, in order to repay Ning Fan for saving her life, she could not lose her manners and make a fool out of herself again. After receiving the jade slip, Ning Fan scanned it with his spirit sense. It was actually the complete version of the puppet ascension technique. Not only did it introduce the secret technique for the advancement of puppets, it also included various insights on refining puppets and formations for joint attacks of puppets. Now, we don't owe each other anything. Yuan Yao covered her plump chest with one hand. The purple grapes were faintly discernible. She forced herself to get off the bed. The pain from the tearing of her buttocks immediately made her lose her balance and fall forward. Her beautiful face was filled with shock. Only now did she notice that her current magic power was actually sealed by the realm beast and she was only left with the mid-nascent soul realm. Her injuries were just stabilized. As her mind was in a mess, they actually showed signs of relapsing again. I'm sorry for being rude. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a hint of approval. He patted his storage pouch and took out a robe of his. Then, he put it on her and supported her. This woman had a clear distinction between gratitude and grudges. She behaved in a decent manner. Even though she had lost her virginity to a junior, she did not act like an ordinary woman who would shout and kill as soon as they met. Moreover, she did not kill him to silence him. Even though she might not necessarily be able to kill Ning Fan at this moment. When Ning Fan held her wrist, Yuan Yao's body trembled as if she was numb. With her status, there was actually a day where she would fall. With her status, there was actually a day where she would fall into the arms of a strange young man. Thank you. Her expression was no longer as painful as before. Instead, it was filled with complicated emotions. As for Ning Fan, he tried to activate the yin-yang locket and used the mind-reading technique to pry into her thoughts. However, it was to no avail and he could only give up. This woman's true cultivation base is just too high. I don't know who you are or what your identity is. What happened last night was ridiculous. I won't tell anyone about it. You don't have to be embarrassed. Any other woman would have done the same thing in that situation. It doesn't mean that you have a bad character. I don't know why you came to the Star Palace. However, with your current nascent soul realm cultivation base and your injuries, you will immediately be besieged by sea beasts as soon as you walk out of the Likuan Palace. If you don't mind, you can temporarily travel with me until your cultivation base is strong enough to protect yourself. Yuan Yao was a little silent. She gently broke free from Ning Fan's grasp and barely managed to stand still. Looking at Ning Fan's sincere eyes, her expression became even more complicated. She knew that what Ning Fan said was reasonable. Currently, her cultivation base was low and her injuries were serious. If it wasn't for Ning Fan's protection, she was afraid that she would die in the mouth of a wild beast. She had never thought that a dignified true immortal realm-shedding void realm expert like her would need Ning Fan's protection one day. Thank you. Before my injuries are fully healed and some seals are broken, I will shamelessly stay by your side. I am Bei Yao. Bei Yao. Ning Fan gently nodded. This woman's surname is indeed Bei. It seems like she is indeed one of Bei Xiaoman's elder sisters. My name is Liu Bei. Liu Bei, huh? Yuan Yao's expression became even more complicated. In the spring dream, she had already asked for Ning Fan's name once. It's really a sin. Chapter 312. Because of the absurd night, Ning Fan had no choice but to stay in the Likuan Palace for a few more days. While giving Shi Ran and Yuan Yao time to recover, he took the opportunity to use the 300 wild beast demon souls to upgrade the grade of his puppets. The evil cold goo had already been refined by the demon blood, allowing his spirit sense to break through to the peak divine transformation realm. As for the other 4 goo, he had yet to refine them. The demon blood in his body was also accumulating and he did not have the time to refine them. Once he refines them, he would certainly need to go into seclusion for a long time. Now that he was in a hurry to return to the Star Island, he naturally would not refine them for the time being. He had already obtained the secret technique of puppet raising from Stone Warrior. This time, the secret technique that Yuan Yao gave him was the most complete inheritance of puppet techniques in the Lost World Palace. Naturally, it was not something that Stone Warrior could compare to. Just like what Yuan Yao had said, this puppet ascension technique was very powerful. As long as Ning Fan travels across the 9 worlds and painstakingly cultivates for 1,000 years using countless spiritual materials to refine his puppets, he would be invincible below the void fragmentation realm with the help of his puppet army. Unfortunately, 1,000 years is too long. Forget it. Let's upgrade the grade of the puppets for now. Ning Fan would not take out forbidden items like Stone Warrior and Yuan Yao Jade to avoid unnecessary trouble. There were only 10 black puppets that needed to be upgraded. 5 of them were at the early stage, 4 were at the mid stage and 1 was at the late stage. 4 of them were damaged. However, puppets had an advantage. As long as you have enough materials, you could easily repair them no matter how badly they were injured. In just half a day, he had repaired 4 puppets. Among the 300 demon souls, there were 207 early divine transformation realm, 55 mid-divine transformation realm, 41 late divine transformation realm, 15 peak divine transformation realm and 9 half-step void refinement realm demon souls. Early divine transformation realm demon souls were not very useful. Only mid-divine transformation realm demon souls could upgrade an early divine transformation realm puppet. After consuming 50 mid-divine transformation realm demon souls, all 5 early divine transformation realm puppets were upgraded to mid-divine transformation realm. After consuming 40 late divine transformation realm demon souls, 4 mid-divine transformation realm puppets were upgraded to late divine transformation realm. 10 peak divine transformation realm demon souls were upgraded to peak divine transformation realm. However, 9 half-step void refinement realm demon souls were not enough to upgrade the black puppet's cultivation base. Gritting his teeth, he channeled all the remaining demon souls into the peak grade Black Lotus. In the end, the black puppet's cultivation base was forcefully raised to the half-step void refinement realm. In terms of aura force alone, it was even slightly stronger than the black dragon and was on par with the Dong Su realm. 5 mid-divine transformation realm puppets, 4 late divine transformation realm puppets and 1 half-step to upgrade. As such, in terms of half-step void refinement realm experts, Ning Fan already had Hei Long and Hei Teng. This round of killing was indeed not in vain. Moreover, the puppet ascension art that Yuan Yao had given him recorded some kind of puppet joint attack art, the ghost soldier possession art. This technique used the sacrifice of a puppet to increase a puppet's strength. The puppet that was sacrificed would suffer irreparable damage. If he sacrifices the other 9 spiritual puppets, Ning Fan was confident that he could raise Hei Teng's strength to the early void refinement realm within a short period of time. This was a trump card, a trump card that could allow him to dominate the universe. Even if he were to return to the Endless Sea in the future and become enemies with the 7 venerated beings of the Internal Sea, Ning Fan would still be able to ensure that he was invincible. Of course, there were only 7 half-step void refinement realm experts in the Internal Endless Sea on the surface. Ning Fan had no idea if there were any void refinement realm experts in the dark. The Endless Sea was a domain of its own. It was not restricted by the realm law of the Rain Palace. Ning Fan would not believe that the Endless Sea did not have a force that could make the Rain Palace fearful. At the very least, 7 half-step void refinement realm venerated beings were not enough to make the Rain Palace feel fearful. I can never underestimate my enemies. Even if I am strong enough to conquer the entire Inner Sea, I still have to be cautious. After keeping all of his spiritual puppets, Ning Fan began to stabilize the improvement of his spirit sense brought by the evil cold goo. Peak Divine Transformation Realm Spirit Sense. To ordinary people, the improvement of their spirit sense might mean an improvement in their senses, pill refinement and weapon refinement techniques. However, to Ning Fan, it meant a direct increase in his strength. In other words, after using the Sense Soul Incarnation technique, Ning Fan's body turned illusory and he could fight against a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert head-on with his incarnation. While he was stabilizing the level of his spirit sense, Ning Fan suddenly discovered another good thing. There was an extra trace of Fu Li ancestral blood in his body. In the beginning, he only had 4 drops of ancestral blood. Now, after he condensed 4 drops of ancestral blood, there was an extra purplish-black translucent blood trace beside the 4th drop of blood. He took a deep breath, feeling a little puzzled. When he snatched a drop of half-step ancestral blood in the Dragon Burial City, he did not devour it. Instead, he ignited it and went on a killing spree. Although it seemed crazy, it was actually a way to avoid danger after careful consideration. The ancestral blood of the Black Dragon was indeed precious. However, he already had the Fu Li ancestral blood. It was useless for him to devour it. In theory, after devouring the ancestral blood of the Black Dragon, it could increase his demon power and strengthen his bloodline. However, this strengthening did not include increasing the amount of ancestral blood. At most, it could improve the quality of his bloodline. Since he did not have any female cultivators of the dragon race by his side, the ancestral blood of the Black Dragon was naturally useless. If he keeps the ancestral blood, he might be besieged by 2 Star Lords at the same time. If he ignites the ancestral blood, it would be the end of his troubles. This item was too precious. That was why it was a crime to possess it. However, after he ignited the ancestral blood, the amount of Fu Li blood in his body increased. Is there any principle behind this that I can't figure out? Or could it be that the Fu Li blood is the remnant bloodline of other true spirits after they ignited it? Ning Fan put this matter aside. This trace of ancestral blood could be said to be of great significance. As long as he nurtures this blood trace well, it would be the time for him to condense the 5th drop of ancestral blood in the future when this blood trace grows strong and healthy. If he has the chance to obtain the ancestral blood of other true spirits in the future, he would be more than willing to ignite his bloodline again to see if he can condense another trace of ancestral blood. This time, Ning Fan could indeed be said to have a great harvest. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Gue Chen and the others were left in the Star Sea forever to worship Ning Fan's statue and provide him with an endless supply of incense. Feng Han and the others temporarily stayed in the Li Kuan Palace to recuperate. They also decided not to enter the Sky Hall. Once they received Feng Zhang's order, they would return to the Second Realm. The sea breeze was a little bleak. In the end, Ning Fan broke through the surface of the ocean and left. She ran and Yuan Yao rode on the golden flame chariot and turned into a ray of golden light. The black dragon that was pulling the chariot was reduced to an ordinary size by Ning Fan as he did not want to shock the world anymore. Although the black dragon's size had changed, the chariot's speed hadn't decreased. It had been 2 months since they left Star Island. Wei Xian said that he would help Ning Fan stop the other geniuses for 6 months. However, even Yuan Yao had come to the Star Palace from the Northern Heaven. Ning Fan could not guarantee that there would not be other experts who would come to the Star Palace in advance. He awakened his medicine soul and used the star-tempering purple Ganoderma to reconstruct his sea of consciousness. Enter the heavenly hall, punish concubine Z, rescue Lu Wu, and obtain the star of the celestial emperor. Then, he left. The tense and murderous atmosphere of the past 2 months did not make Ning Fan show any signs of fatigue. However, there was a hint of worry in his eyes all along. You actually have a golden flame chariot. This is the chariot of the ancient heavenly court. Why do you have it? After a few days of rest, Yuan Yao's mood was slightly better. She was enjoying the sea breeze while adjusting the phoenix hairpin from time to time. I was just lucky. Oh yeah, there's something I want to ask you. On the day I saved you, there was only the corpse of a realm beast that came to the Star Palace at the same time as you. Ning Fan said indifferently. There was only one. Impossible. Before I fell unconscious, I forcefully activated the Purple Desire Divine Technique. It should be enough to eliminate 2 realm beasts. Why is there only one corpse? Yuan Yao's phoenix eyes turned cold for a moment. Her coldness was not directed at Ning Fan. Instead, it was because she had guessed something. Could it be that the other realm beast is still alive? Then, where is it now? Yuan Yao thought of a possibility. Could it be that it escaped after getting injured? Shiran was fiddling with something on an exquisite jade slip and answered casually. She did not tell Ning Fan what kind of jade slip she was inscribing and forbade him from looking at it. It seemed to be a little secret. No. This beast probably hasn't left. I am 70% sure that it has already infiltrated the Star Palace and is waiting for an opportunity to attack you. As for the remaining 30%, it isn't because I'm guessing that it has left. Instead, it has a 30% chance of dying under my magic technique. It's just that there's no corpse left. If that's the case, it would be great. Ning Fan's tone was firm but his eyes were filled with worry. He was worried that the surviving realm beast was still in the Star Palace, waiting to attack Yuan Yao. Oh. Why are you so sure that the other realm beast will stay in the Star Palace and not run away? Is there any basis for this guess? Yuan Yao suddenly became interested in Ning Fan. The latter was obviously a little fellow whose bone age was less than 400 years old. However, the way he spoke and acted was like an old man. Are you testing me? Ning Fan gave Yuan Yao a strange look. You can say that. Based on what? Realm beasts usually only attack immortal cultivators. You have already suppressed your cultivation base to the void fragmentation realm but it still attacked you. This doesn't make sense. It's impossible for the immortal rotting poison to be carried by the realm beast. Someone must have plotted against you and purposely raised the realm beast. If there's someone instructing it, it won't leave until it reaches its goal. The third world of the Star Palace can only withstand void refinement realm cultivators at most. If that realm beast is still in the Star Palace, it would at most be at the void refinement realm. Otherwise, the third world would have long collapsed because of it. Therefore, I'm guessing that this beast is either dead or severely injured and is staying in the Star Palace, trying to find you and hunt you down. Ning Fan's words made Shiran confused. However, Yuan Yao nodded her head in agreement. That's what I thought too. You seem to have a good mind and strength. However, your cultivation method is a little rotten. Yuan Yao sighed softly and looked at Ning Fan, feeling pity. The yin-yang devil art collects yin to nourish yang. However, it's not a cultivation method of the righteous path. It's also difficult to cultivate it to the peak of the immortal Tao. In the past, I also had a friend, let's call her a friend for now. She also desired this kind of cultivation method. Not only did she secretly learn this cultivation method, but she also searched everywhere for the Emperor treasure, the yin-yang locket, which was left behind by immortal Emperor Chaotic Ancient. Yuan Yao sighed softly. In the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu's shoulders seemed to tremble slightly. The past was over. Even if it was the grudge between them in the past, it was still nostalgic. Yin-yang devil art? She tilted her head, feeling puzzled. Isn't Ningfan a member of the Fuli demon race? Why did he become a cultivator of a devil art? Without explaining, Yuan Yao continued to persuade him with a regretful tone. This cultivation method isn't suitable for you. Plucking women is too harmful to the harmony of heaven. Moreover, it will eventually become entangled in the love between a man and a woman. You won't be able to cultivate to the supreme oblivion realm. In the end, you won't be able to break through to the peak of the immortal Tao. If you're willing, after I break the seal, I can help you abolish this cultivation method and choose another powerful fiend god cultivation method for you. Moreover, I have a friend who is an immortal from the Lost World Palace in the Northern Heaven world. He can grant you a place to ascend to the Northern Heaven and help you avoid the heavenly tribulation in the future. Yuan Yao said it out of goodwill. She did not want to see a good jade like Ningfan being ruined by a rubbish cultivation method. However, if Yuan Yao had known that the yin-yang transformation wasn't a trash cultivation technique, but a terrifying divine technique that could be cultivated by the 3 clans simultaneously, she definitely wouldn't have said such superfluous words. A spot for ascension. Ningfan stared at Yuan Yao. It seemed to be the 3rd time that he was valued by the people of the Lost World Palace. Bei Xiaoman had taken a liking to Ningfan, but she purposely refused to recruit him out of spite. Bailey wanted to recruit him, but she did not have the chance to do so. Yuan Yao, on the other hand, directly promised Ningfan a bright future. However, it might not necessarily be because she felt pity for Ningfan's aptitude and talent. Perhaps, there were some complicated feelings in her heart. I will not give up on this merit law. Ningfan resolutely said. What? Do you know how powerful the cultivation method I am going to give you is? With your potential, if you cultivate this divine vein, you will be able to reach the void fragmentation realm in just 1,000 years. 10,000 years to break through to the life immortal realm. He was able to break through the 3 realms of perfected immortality in 30,000 years. In 100,000 years, you might even have the chance to become the immortal emperor. Are you willing to give up such a powerful technique just for a yin-yang transformation? Yuan Yao gently bit her lip. She had never been so nice to any man before. Today, she promised Ningfan such a powerful cultivation method, but he actually rejected it. Is this brat an idiot? However, Yuan Yao did not know why she would be angry when Ningfan rejected her cultivation method. Perhaps, she secretly hoped that Ningfan would have a bright future and narrow the gap between them. Perhaps, she also desired something deep in her heart. However, the reality was too difficult and the gap between their identities was too huge. She did not even dare to think about it. Do you think that the cultivation method I am going to give me is not good enough? No. Ningfan took a deep breath. His eyes became gentle. Memories flashed across his mind. All of them were connected to the yin-yang transformation. This cultivation method used to be my hope for revenge. But now, it has a greater significance. I promised a woman that I will give her freedom by cultivating this cultivation method. I promised my master that I will revive my master's wife by cultivating this cultivation method. Most importantly, this cultivation technique was given to me by Jihe. My Tao is contained within it. I will not abandon it, just like how I can't abandon the 7 Apricot City, my master, Jihe, and those women that I love. I don't know what it means to be emotionless. But if it comes to that, I don't think I will choose to be emotionless. Ningfan's words were loud and clear. He was neither humble nor arrogant. His body was thin and weak, but his back was as majestic as a mountain. His expression was calm, but his eyes were as firm as a boulder. His cultivation base was at the divine transformation realm, but at this moment, there was Tao in his body. I have my own Tao. Ningfan's words reverberated in Yuan Yao's ears for a long time, causing her beautiful eyes to be filled with admiration. With her current cultivation base, it was impossible for her to take a fancy to any of Ningfan's merits. However, at this moment, Ning Fan's Tao heart was so firm that it made her, avoid abandoning realm true immortal, feel ashamed of her inferiority. It would be great if you were born 1,000,000 years earlier. Yuan Yao looked at the sky and smiled self-mockingly. Elder sister Bei Yao, what are you talking about? Shi Ran's gossipy heart was ignited. Nothing. According to your deduction, if that realm beast doesn't die, it will ambush me in the Star Palace. In that case, I won't have any strength to resist and I will only implicate you. Before entering the Heaven Palace, I will part ways with you. You underestimate me too much. Even though I'm a little selfish, I won't ignore the women who have slept with me before. Ning Fan teased her. What did you say? I dare you to say it again. Yuan Yao's gentle expression turned cold. No matter what, she did not like Ning Fan mentioning the past again. Alright. I won't talk about it anymore. However, you don't have to worry. Before you have the strength to protect yourself, I won't abandon you. Ning Fan shook his head and thought to himself, this Bei Yao is the serious type. Every action of hers is well planned and meticulous. She cares about her reputation and integrity. Well, it's no wonder. If Bei Yao is Bei Xiaoman's elder sister and the mistress of the Lost World Palace, having her reputation destroyed should be a serious crime, right? Ning Fan could tell this kind of joke to other women but not to Yuan Yao. Forget it. This Bei Yao is a shedding void realm true immortal realm. I don't even understand the classification of true immortals but she is already a high and mighty being. She and I only had one night of love. I don't think we will have a second chance to share the same bed. With her identity, she will naturally have other pursuers. Why would she take a fancy to me? I only want to ensure that she doesn't have to worry about her trip to the Star Palace. After she recovers her cultivation base, she will have ways to protect herself. Naturally, she won't take a fancy to me anymore. As for me, I just want to have a clear conscience. Ning Fan was not a fool. He knew that there was a huge gap between him and Yuan Yao. After all, there was a trace of stubbornness in his bones. If others do not take a fancy to him, he would not throw himself at them. Ning Fan remained silent. However, he did not have the intention to abandon Yuan Yao. Seeing that Ning Fan suddenly stopped joking, Yuan Yao was at a loss of what to do. In her heart, she suddenly felt a little touched but also a little disappointed. She was touched because she had never needed anyone's protection with her identity. Today, however, Ning Fan agreed to protect her without hesitation in the face of the possible existence of the realm beast. It was her first time experiencing the feeling of being protected. She was disappointed because her words seemed to have poked at Ning Fan's pride. I'm not looking down on you. It's just that, just what? It's just that we. Forget it. You will understand in the future. Reality is cruel. Most of the time, people don't even have the right to choose their own fate. Yuan Yao looked at the distant sky as if she was recalling the past. How many years has it been since I last looked at the sky like a child? Do you still remember how many stars we lost together in the past? Yuan Yao was thinking if Ning Fan would understand that there is a kind of relationship in this world called fate but not fate. In a desolate abyss in the Seven Slaughter Sea, a rotting gigantic beast's injuries were slightly stabilized after devouring countless sea beasts. With a shake of his body, he turned into a cloaked man. His appearance was concealed, only revealing a pair of dark green eyes. He looked like an evil spirit. That lowly servant girl is seriously injured. I have sealed her cultivation to the nascent soul realm. If she falls into the sea of stars, she will definitely be eaten by the fierce beasts. However, I still need to find her corpse before I can report to my lord. If she didn't die, humph. The cloaked burly man took a step forward and the sea region within a radius of 50,000 li turned into dust. His early void refinement realm cultivation base spread out. If she doesn't die, I'll make her suffer a fate worse than death. The palace master of the Lost World Palace, Yuan Yao. The burly man sneered evilly. Chapter 313. To cultivators, 2 months was just a period of meditation. Outside the Star Island, the female corpse would stand on the star reef every day and look at the sea of stars from afar. She did not know what kind of dangers Ning Fan was going through at the moment and how many massacres he had caused. However, she did not stick to Ning Fan like before. She could faintly feel that all of Ning Fan's killings were just for her sake. Light, the tide of the sea of stars made the female corpse calm down for the first time. She was just a dead person. She no longer had any memories or feelings. However, she still could not abandon Ning Fan in this life. Wu Yan also spent her days leisurely. During these 2 months, her injuries had already fully recovered. In just 2 short months, it was her first time worrying about someone's safety. The female corpse did not know where Ning Fan was or what he was doing, but Wu Yan knew. On that day, Ning Fan sent a message to them via his flying sword and told them to have a good rest. On that day, Ning Fan's tone was as calm as before, as if he was just going out to the sea to search for medicine and not to kill anyone. However, shocking news soon spread across the southern Star Island. A demonic might that made people's expressions change caused no demonic beast to dare to cause trouble on the southern Star Island anymore. Yan. Sensing Wu Yan and Yu Lingkong's arrival, the female corpse turned her head slightly and asked hesitantly. Where is Light? Do you want to know where he is? Wu Yan was wearing a green feather robe. She stood there like a lonely imperial concubine in a cold palace and stroked the female corpse's hair lovingly. Wu Yan already knew that this female corpse who had been dead for many years was too important to Ning Fan. Wu Yan also had a good impression of the female corpse. She liked this pure and untainted lady and felt pity for her fate of becoming a corpse devil. I also don't know where Liu Bei is now. However, I know that everything he did was probably for you. He crushed the Ghost Might Pass, froze the Dragon Burial City, crushed the Southern Prison Kingdom with his palm, and overturned the Kun Devil Sea. He should be back soon. I know everything he has done for you. The demons know, but you don't know. Wu Yan felt a little sad. The reason why Ning Fan went out to the sea was to search for soul sand and refine purple zoysia to repair the female corpse's sea of consciousness. The reason why Ning Fan killed them was because he wanted to shoulder the dangers of the Star Island alone and not let the 3 ladies who were resting on the island be disturbed. Wu Yan understood. She knew that this somewhat stubborn and cold young man actually had a gentler side to him. However, the dead woman would never understand that. The dead woman only nodded at Wu Yan's words. She could only understand the last sentence. Oh, she did not know what kind of danger Ning Fan had encountered. She only knew that Ning Fan seemed to be coming back soon. The female corpse would never understand that when she instinctively feared Ning Fan and avoided his embrace, it was actually a form of harm. That stinking brat is really a little scary. Even if I had recovered my strength, I would not dare to act recklessly in such a dangerous place like the Star Sea. This Star Sea is almost as dangerous as the Endless Sea. This little cucumber is really reckless. I haven't seen him for 2 months, and I miss him a lot. Yu Lingkong's expression was filled with admiration. She was a bold and unrestrained woman, so she naturally liked men who did things boldly. Ning Fan's crazy actions naturally made her, the female tyrant of the Internal Sea, feel inferior. Come to think of it, there were only 7 half-step void refinement realm experts in the Internal Endless Sea. However, Ning Fan had single-handedly killed 9 half-step void refinement realm experts when he was burning his blood in the Star Sea. Moreover, he had killed more than 300 divine transformation realm experts. If this battle achievement spreads to the Internal Endless Sea, Ning Fan's reputation would probably surpass any of the 7 venerated beings of the Internal Endless Sea. Even Yu Lingkong herself did not notice that when she talked about Ning Fan's battle achievements, she who had always killed people like Scything Flax felt a little reverence. That's right. He always acts recklessly. There was one time in the Luo Yun sect when Big Sister Yu was not around. Liu Bei killed someone in a fit of rage to avenge little sister Wan. He stood on the cloud platform and swept his gaze across the world. He fought against the demons of the 9 divisions alone, but none of them dared to accept his challenge. At that time, he was really awe-inspiring. This was not the first time he acted recklessly. Wu Yan nodded lightly. She deeply agreed with Yu Linkong's words. It was fine if Ning Fan was not enraged, but once he was enraged, he would go crazy. His madness struck fear into his enemies, but it made the woman behind him feel safe and warm. Bang! Just as the 3 ladies were thinking about Ning Fan, the hollow space in the sky above the Star Island was on the verge of collapsing again. Dark and pitch-black void cracks appeared in 7 to 8 parts of the sky at the same time. Traces of void wind blew out from them. Luckily, the cracks were not too big, which prevented them from forming a void storm. During the 2 months that Ning Fan had been away, it was not the first time that such a scene of the hollow space shattering had appeared. Wu Yan and Yu Linkong were both intelligent and had extraordinary experiences. They could tell that the shattering of the hollow space was not a natural phenomenon. It was man-made. There's no mistake. Someone is attacking the Star Palace from the outside of the hollow space. They are trying to break the barrier of the Star Palace and enter this place. The Star Palace belongs to the 3rd world. Besides, the 3 worlds of the land of slumber are all within the territory of the Rain world. The Rain world is not the territory of the demon race. Therefore, even my Spirit King Palace and the true Spirit Realm demon race have to use the secret technique of the world passage in order to descend to this world. However, this group of people forced their way into the Star Palace from the outside world. In other words, they are highly likely to be a force of the divine race. The 2 ladies speculated. However, a moment later, their beautiful eyes turned cold. Usually, even if the hollow space was shattered, it would recover very quickly. It was just like when those forces wanted to enter the Star Palace but were restrained by some kind of formation, preventing them from entering this place. Today, however, 8 parts of the hollow space were shattered at the same time. However, only 7 of them had recovered. The 8th part of the hollow space did not recover. From that part of the hollow space, there seemed to be endless streams of light. Then, nearly 100 figures in purple robes shot out continuously. All of them were at the nascent soul realm and above. There were 12 of them at the divine transformation realm and above. The leader of the group of dragons was a young man in purple robes. His chi was cold and his eyes were filled with evil purple chi. His bone age was less than 700 years old, but his cultivation base was at the mid-divine transformation realm. This person was not enough to make Yu Linkong and the others feel fearful. The problem was that there were 2 old men in hemp robes standing behind this young man. One of the 2 old men was blind in his left eye while the other was blind in his right eye. However, both of them were at the half-step void refinement realm. Despite being so strong, they were standing respectfully behind the young man in purple robes as if they were his servants. It was enough to show how extraordinary this young man's identity was. Is this the Star Palace? Even though I don't know why there is an immortal formation level maze formation in the hollow space, and I also don't know who has destroyed half of its power. In short, the Purple Robe Palace of the Northern Heavens Purple Soul Star region is the first force to enter the Star Sea. Congratulations to young master for being the first to enter the Star Palace. Those demons came to the territory of our divine race and tried to seize the star of the Heavenly Emperor. What a joke! It's extremely difficult for them to descend from another world. It's impossible for them to have too many experts. I'm afraid they can't even send half-step void refinement realm experts. With us, the Kunwu elders, we will certainly help young master seize the Emperor's star. If young master obtains the Emperor's star, you will certainly break through to the late divine transformation realm. A late divine transformation realm expert who is 700 years old is rare even in the entire Purple Soul Star region. Moreover, this Emperor's star will be very useful in the trip to the ancient heavenly court. If young master obtains this star and becomes the master of the ancient heavenly court, the White Devil sect will be nothing. Well said. If the 2 of you help me, Zichuan, to seize the Emperor's star. When we return to the Purple Soul Star, you will each get 2 purple life pills that you have been yearning for a long time. Purple life pills. We will certainly not disappoint you and help young master seize the pill. The 2 Kunwu elders cupped their fists and saluted. Their eyes were filled with passion. If they could obtain the purple life pills of the Purple Soul Star, there would be hope for them to break through to the void refinement realm in this lifetime. The 2 old men's eyes fell upon the star island below. Immediately, their faces were filled with joy. There was a star island in front of them and there was a star door on the island. They were really lucky. Not only were they the first to enter the Star Palace, but they also found the star door directly. Once they entered it, they would certainly reach the Heavenly Palace. When their eyes swept across the edge of the Star Island and saw Wu Yan and the other 2 women coming from the Kunwu elders, they immediately revealed lustful expressions and licked their lips. 2 of them are at the late Divine Transformation realm and 1 of them is at the mid-Divine Transformation realm. Among these 3 women, 1 has a first-class figure, 1 is a refined corpse and the last one is a little girl. Really, there are all kinds of women here. Hee hee. They are all excellent human cauldrons. The cultivation of the 2 Kunwu elders was not considered high in the Purple Soul Star region. However, they were notorious for their love of harming female cultivators. Their actions were lawless. As long as they were interested in a woman and the force of that woman was not a threat to them, no one would not dare to snatch her away. However, with the Purple Dress Palace as their backing, no powerful force dared to kill them. Many beautiful women had died because of them. Today, the 2 of them had turned their attention to Wu Yan and the other 2 women. Young master, the star door is on the island. It seems to have been entered by the demon race. It will take a few more days before it opens again. Before entering the Heavenly Palace, the 2 of us want to have some fun on this island. The fun was naturally for Wu Yan and the other 2 women. Zichuan frowned. Considering that he still needed the help of the 2 Kunwu elders to enter the Heavenly Palace and fight for the star of the Heavenly Emperor, he did not stop them. He only said coldly, "Be quiet. Go and come back quickly." All right. There are 3 great beauties below. After we capture them, young master can choose one of them first. The remaining 2 will be shared by the 2 of us. The 2 Kunwu elders laughed evilly. No need. I'm not interested in women at all. Zichuan closed his eyes coldly. As for the 2 Kunwu elders, they had already lost their patience and rushed downwards. The appearance of the experts of the Purple Dress Palace happened in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Yu Lingkong and Wu Yan felt the lustful eyes of the 2 Kunwu elders in the sky. Their faces turned cold. Especially Yu Lingkong. She was really angry. If she regained her original strength, even if the opponents were 2 half-step void refinement realm experts, she would certainly rush forward and risk her life as long as they dared to violate her. However, at this moment, Yu Lingkong's cultivation base had been greatly damaged. Even with the power of her Moon Sense secret technique, she could at most block the attack from one of them. The other half-step void refinement realm expert could easily eliminate Wu Yan and the female corpse. Hurry up and go. Yu Lingkong no longer had her usual carefree manner. At this moment, her eyes were cold and imposing like a monarch who had been sitting on a high position for a long time. Without hesitation, she held the female corpse and Wu Yan's hands. Then, she bit the tip of her tongue and went straight to the North Star Island. The South Star Island only had the 3 of them while the North Star Island had the help of the demon bear. Yu Lingkong did not know how Ning Fan made the old bear cower. However, she believed that as long as they escaped to the northern island and meet up with the demon bear and the others, they would be able to scare the enemies away even if there were 2 half-step void refinement realm experts. I just didn't expect that I, the dignified lord of the divine space island, would actually be soft-hearted and save people one day. The people she saved were the female corpse and Wu Yan who belonged to Ning Fan. A ray of moonlight turned into a trace of moonlight smoke and flashed across several 10,000 li. The star island was not large. It only had a circumference of several 100,000 li. To Yulinkong, she only needed to fly 10 times to reach the old bear's lair. Her speed caused the two Kunwu elders to be startled and slightly fearful. This Yulinkong's speed was not any slower than the two of them. However, after confirming that Yulinkong was just a late divine transformation realm cultivator, the two of them immediately let down their guard and their lust was ignited again. Interesting. Interesting. This little girl can run quite fast. However, don't even think about escaping from our palms. Soul escape technique. The two old men turned into soul smoke and chased after the three ladies. The speed of their soul smoke was slightly faster than Yulinkong's. In just a few moments, they had already caught up to Yulinkong. Hee hee. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? After letting out a cold laugh, the two old men's soul light flashed strangely and they actually appeared in front of Yulinkong. Each of them sent out a palm strike without showing any mercy. They were determined to severely injure Yulinkong with a single strike and make the three ladies submit to them. You're courting death. Yulinkong deeply believed that she had never been so humiliated in her entire life. Even when she had a fierce battle with Ning Fan's cucumber, she was willing to participate in it. However, these two pretentious things in front of her wanted to humiliate her. What right do they have? She was truly enraged. The two moon-colored stars on her glabella shone intensely. Her complexion turned pale rapidly. Zhang Yu. Yulinkong uttered these two words with difficulty. As the moon shone brightly, the atmosphere within 1,000 li immediately turned pitch black. Moreover, traces of moonlight poured down on the two old men's bodies like a thin veil. The moment the moonlight shined, the expressions of the Kunwu elders changed greatly. In just an instant, a third of their seas of consciousness were melted by the moonlight. They hastily retreated out of the range of moonlight's attack. The two of them spat out blood and were seriously injured. Moon burial technique. This is the inheritance of the ancient heavenly court's immortal concubine Zhang Yu. You actually know how to use it? No answer. At this moment, Yulinkong had forcefully activated this secret technique. She had suffered quite a bit of damage to herself. However, the damage she had done to the Kunwu two elders was even greater. At the instant the two of them retreated, Yulinkong seized the opportunity to flee and once again widened the distance between them. The Kunwu elders were so angry that they wanted to kill someone. A third of their sea of consciousness had been irretrievably melted away. Both of their divine senses were greatly damaged. Damn it! Damn it! Originally, we only wanted to take you in as a human cauldron, but since you don't know how to appreciate favors, after we capture you this time, the two of us will definitely make you suffer a fate worse than death. The two Kunwu elders no longer underestimated their enemy. They flew with all their might. This time, they only needed 3 shifts to catch up to Yulinkong. Looking at Yulinkong, who had forcefully activated the secret technique and whose combat strength had been greatly damaged, the two old men felt very pleased. Then, they slammed their palms down. Yulinkong clenched her teeth. It was difficult for her to dodge these two palms. Let's fight them to the death. Wu Yan was already furious. Kill them. The female corpse's eyes were also cold. However, before the two women could make their moves, a simple and honest voice filled with disdain came from afar. Although the voice was still far away, the owner of the voice had already appeared in front of the two palms. With a wave of his bare paw, the two soul-light palms were smashed into pieces. This old man is the master of Star Island, Man Shan. The 3 of them are the wives of my friend. Who dares to touch them? The Kunwu elders were shocked. This demon bear that suddenly appeared was definitely not weaker than either of them. Chapter 314. After shattering the two elders' palm imprints, Man Shan immediately revealed his true form. He turned into a 3,000 zhang tall silverback giant bear. After shattering the two elders' palm imprints, Man Shan did not show any signs of weakness on the surface. In fact, he was secretly not at ease. The two blind old men in front of him must not be underestimated. Half-step void refinement realm. The two elders took a deep breath. Zichuan and the other purple-robed cultivators rushed towards them with cold expressions. Man Shan was very strong. After the greedy wolf star ocean lost its star lord, he became the strongest expert there. As Man Shan revealed his demon form, two more ugly women came to him and joined him. They protected Yu Lingkong and the other women from harm. After that, the sea beasts from all directions surrounded them. Zichuan roughly scanned the area. There were at least 400,000 sea beasts on the Star Island. Other than Man Shan and his group, there were also 7 wild beasts. Young master, what should we do? The two elders were already regretting their decision. From their point of view, the 3 women were under the protection of the old bear. If they fight the sea beasts on the Star Island, even if the people of the Purple Robe Palace could win, they would also suffer a great loss. If they knew this would happen, they would just wait at the Star Gate and not provoke this woman. However, they had already caused trouble and the 2 elders were also severely injured. If they were to retreat just like this, they would definitely not be willing to do so. You should deal with the trouble you caused yourself. Zichuan frowned and said coldly. However, this sentence was like a tacit agreement. It immediately made the 2 elders' faces turn ferocious. Both of them took a step forward and each of them turned into a 1,500 zhang tall giant with purple scales. Their vigorous aura force spread out. Since they wanted to cause trouble, they might as well go all out and slaughter the entire Star Island. Even though the opponent was a half-step void refinement realm bear demon, there was only one of them. After killing him, the rest of them were nothing to be afraid of. Retreat. Man Shan's eyes turned gloomy. He knew that today's battle was unavoidable. Originally, he did not want to get involved in this matter and let the 3 women be captured. However, he was determined to save them. Among them, 60% of the reason was because of his void fragmentation realm background. 30% of it was because of his ocean overturning devil might. The last reason was because the old bear quite liked his personality. He didn't like to talk much and didn't like to be ostentatious, but once he made a move, it would be a huge operation that would turn the world upside down. Liu Bei sits in the south, and I sit in the north. We occupy Star Island together, and we've been neighbors on Star Island for a few months. If you want to touch his woman, you'll have to ask my fist first. Man Shan released his aura. Under this aura, the wind and clouds moved and the mountains and rivers shook. Countless sea beasts revealed looks of reverence. It had been many years since they had seen the old bear so fierce. If it weren't for the sake of swallowing the star-tempering purple Zoisha and getting rid of the body of Star Soul, the old bear wouldn't have stayed silent in the Sea of Stars for so many years. He would have already defeated one of the 4 sacred demons and become the king of the sea. Liu Bei. Zichuan frowned. Where did this person come from? He actually had 3 divine transformation females as his wives and concubines. Moreover, they even had Man Shan, who was a half-step void refinement realm expert. As for the Kunwu elders, they didn't have as many thoughts as Zichuan did. The 2 of them transformed into giants and struck out with their palms. Strands of soul power swirled around their fingertips before condensing into a huge purple palm print. Purple light flowed in reverse, and there was a terrifying aura that sucked in soul power. As the palm print slammed out, pieces of the void collapsed one after another, and the Star Island shook violently. Great profound soul imprint. 2 soul palms approached him. All of a sudden, Man Shan let out a thunderous roar. His aura suddenly rose and silver light shone around his body. He opened his mouth and swallowed the 2 palm prints. Mountain swallowing technique. After Man Shan displayed this technique, the 2 ugly women revealed a satisfied look. This is the mountain swallowing technique that my husband created. He uses starlight to refine his internal organs. Almost all attacks below the void refinement realm can be swallowed in a single gulp. No matter how many people you have, as long as you can't launch a void refinement realm attack, you won't be able to hurt my husband. Is that so? The Kunwu elders sneered. The power of this palm print was not something that could be swallowed easily. Man Shan swallowed the 2 palm prints in a single gulp. However, he did not take even half a step back. His aura was as steady as a mountain. In Man Shan's eyes, the body refinement realm of the 2 Kunwu elders was far inferior to his. The power of these 2 palm prints could be said to be as light as scratching an itch. However, after the palm prints entered his abdomen, his expression immediately changed. His internal organs were strong enough to withstand all attacks below the void refinement realm. However, the power of these palm prints was too strange. It did not attack his physical body at all. Instead, it directly attacked his soul. Puff! The demon's soul was heavily injured, and the barbarian mountain giant body was forced back 100 miles. It crushed mountains and rivers before it could stabilize itself. Its eyes were filled with anger. What a despicable palm print. It specializes in attacking the soul. It's far from enough to defeat me with this palm print. Star healing technique. Lao Xiong roared furiously, and the starlight from the heavenly cycle starry sea immediately entered his huge body like a tide. The wounds to his soul were instantly healed. This scene caused the complexions of the 2 Kunwu elders to change. Even Zichuan's eyes flashed. Starlight body tempering technique? No, it shouldn't be. This bear must have obtained some kind of opportunity that allowed it to use a trace of starlight to heal its injuries. However, this isn't the real starlight tempering technique. It's just an imitation. It's also because the Kunwu elders' great profound soul seal wasn't cultivated to perfection. Otherwise, this bear demon wouldn't be able to recover so easily. Man Shan was furious. He was so ferocious in the past that he could fight the 4 sacred demons alone and escape unscathed. But now, he was injured by the sneak attack of the Kunwu 2 elders. This was a great loss of face. However, Man Shan had no choice but to admit that the great profound palm imprint of the 2 Kunwu elders was indeed extremely profound. It seemed to be a little too arrogant for him to fight the 2 of them alone. Bitches, fuck. Help me kill them. Alright. The 2 ugly women were standard traditional women. In front of outsiders, they would never make any decision without their husband's order. Of course, when they returned home, the 2 of them would become the leaders of the family. Then, the 2 of them revealed their peak divine transformation realm cultivation base and each of them transformed into 2,000 zhang large bears. The moment they revealed their true forms, they immediately surrounded one of the 2 Kunwu elders. A mere peak divine transformation realm cultivator, the eyes of the 2 Kunwu elders were filled with disdain. However, at the next moment, all of their disdain turned into disbelief. The 2 ugly women were just peak divine transformation realm cultivators. It wasn't difficult for the 2 Kunwu elders to kill them. However, when they attacked together, their attacks were not any weaker than a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. Being caught off guard, the giant armor of one of the elders was directly cracked by the bare palms of the 2 women. The tremendous force even sent him flying 100 li away. Man Shan took the opportunity to roar. He had never been afraid of anyone in a one-on-one battle. You! Die for me! Boom! Even though he was already prepared, the other elder was still sent flying 10,000 zhang away by Man Shan's punch. The 2 elders had never expected that the 2 ugly women who were merely peak divine transformation realm cultivators could be so strong. Due to their carelessness, the 2 of them fought against their enemies respectively. Gradually, their attacks were at a disadvantage. It was only a matter of time before they were defeated by the bear demons. Trash! Zichuan's eyes turned gloomy. These 2 Kunwu elders were really good for nothings. If it wasn't for the fact that he still needed to rely on their strength in the future, he really wished that the 2 of them could die under the bear demon's palms. No matter how unfilial the people of my purple robe palace are, we aren't people that animals like you can bully and humiliate. Sword crystals, appear. Zichuan patted his storage pouch and took out 3 purple crystals. Without any hesitation, he crushed the 3 crystals with his palm. In an instant, 3 rays of sword chi that emitted shocking purple chi surrounded Zichuan's body. In the blink of an eye, they turned into 3 rays of incomparably sharp sword light that moved 1,000 li away, slashing towards the 3 bears of Man Shan. On the battlefield, everyone's eyes were focused on Man Shan, Kunwa elders, and the others. No one noticed Zichuan's attack at all. This person was at the mid-divine transformation realm. Although his talent was not bad, his cultivation level was not worth mentioning. However, Man Shan and the others had neglected one point. Zichuan was the young master of an aristocratic family. He had a trump card that ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators could not hope to have. Sword crystals. They were condensed from the sword intent of an early void refinement realm sword cultivator. Each of the crystals contained the full power of a sword cultivator. 3 pieces of sword crystals meant 3 rays of void refinement realm sword chi. When the 3 rays of sword chi collided, an unimaginable whistling sword wind was immediately formed. Then, 1 was shattered into 10, 10 was shattered into 100, millions of sword shadows. Some were real, some were fake, some were fake, some were fake, some were real, and all of them sealed off the 3 bears' escape routes. Void refinement realm sword chi. Yu Lingkong and Wu Yan's beautiful faces turned pale. Sword crystals were condensed from sword intent. They carried the full power of a sword cultivator expert's attack. It couldn't be any better as a trump card for the younger generation to protect themselves. However, it consumed a lot of effort to create them. Therefore, every sword crystal that contains sword chi above the void refinement realm was a priceless item. This was because an ordinary sword crystal was enough to give a vein opening realm junior the power to kill a peak divine transformation realm cultivator. That Zichuan had actually crushed 3 of such precious items with a single palm strike. It was enough to show how highly valued he was in his clan and sect. The scariest thing was that Zichuan's sneak attack caught Man Shan and the others off guard. They were entangled with Kunwa Mountain and were attacked from both sides at the same time. It was highly likely that they would die under the sword light. The 2 ladies understood that the reason why Man Shan protected them was because in his eyes, they were Ning Fan's women. The 2 ladies were unwilling to admit this identity in front of him. However, after going through so much together, they more or less agreed to it. If Man Shan dies under the sword light, how could the 2 ladies survive? If they fall into the hands of the perverted disciples of the Purple Robe's palace, it would be better for them to die. Yu Lingkong helplessly realized that she could not bear to be humiliated by such a perverted disciple like Ning Fan. So what if it's the void refinement realm sword light? I'm going to fight you to the death. Burning blood. Ning Fan was not the only one who was willing to burn his blood. Any demon with courage would dare to burn their blood and fight with their lives. There was a palm imprint in front of him. However, Man Shan did not even look at it and took the attack head-on. Then, he opened his mouth and swallowed the void refinement realm sword light. The great soul palm imprint heavily injured Man Shan's demon soul. The void refinement realm sword light made the internal defense that he was proud of begin to crumble. However, he forcefully suppressed his injuries with the starlight around his body after he ignited his blood. Then, he took a huge step forward and opened his mouth to suck in the sword light that was attacking the 2 ugly women. This sword light was too powerful. Even if he was the one who was ambushed by the sword light, he would only be severely injured. However, if the 2 peak divine transformation realm women were hit by it, they would certainly die. I have been cultivating my demon cultivation all my life. I didn't give you any benefits. But I can't let you die. Roar! The old bear swallowed the 3 void refinement realm sword lights and let them pierce his body. However, he was fearless. Husband. The 2 ugly women desperately blocked the attack of the old bear. Their eyes were filled with tears as they looked at the old bear. Don't cry. Remember to ask Liu Bei to avenge me. Even if I die, I will self-detonate and drag one of them down with me. At this moment, the old bear was surprised to find out that he had broken through the bottleneck of the void refinement realm that he originally couldn't break through. Good news. He didn't expect that the crisis of life and death would actually allow him to break through the bottleneck. In that case, as long as he goes into seclusion for 80 to 100 years, he would be able to break through to the void refinement realm easily. Unfortunately, I won't have the chance to attain the void refinement realm anymore, asking Liu Bei to avenge me? I won't accept it. Man Shan's body was surrounded by bloody light. That was the sign that his blood had been ignited to the extreme and he was about to self-detonate. Kunwu was scared. Even Zichuan's expression changed greatly. Idiot. If this bear runs away, he won't die easily. If he doesn't do anything about it, he won't die either. Why did he save them? Why did he risk his life to protect his two ugly wives? Idiot. Before Zichuan's voice faded away, a golden ray of light tore through the sky and flew towards them. That gold immortal did not stop. A trace of purple smoke drifted out and landed in front of Man Shan, standing on the head of his giant bear. His eyes looked at the two elders of Kunwu and Zichuan. His eyes were like ice that would never melt for 10,000 years. Ning Fan is here. Void refinement realm escaping light. Who has come here? Zichuan's expression changed greatly. As for Ning Fan, he did not have the mood to explain to him. Man Shan isn't an idiot. He has his own Tao. However, if it's to protect his obsession, it doesn't matter even if his Tao is destroyed and his body dies. A surge of baleful qi that soared into the sky turned into clouds of baleful qi, dyeing the clouds within 10,000 li red. Liu Bei, avenge me, shut up. I don't like owing a man a favor. Ning Fan moved and slapped on the top of the old bear's head. The three traces of sword qi that were wreaking havoc in the old bear's body were pulled out by his palm and shot towards Zichuan and the others. The sword qi was forcefully swallowed by the old bear and its momentum was broken. Now, it was possible to pull it out. If the old bear's physical body was slightly weaker, Ning Fan would not be able to pull out the sword qi that entered his body. The three traces of sword qi attacked Zichuan and Kunwu elders respectively. They turned into rays of sword light that filled the sky and drowned all the experts of the Purple Robe's palace. Extracting the sword qi. This young man can extract the void refinement realm sword qi. Could he be Liu Bei? Zichuan's expression darkened. Ning Fan's appearance made him unprecedentedly nervous. It was not because of Ning Fan's cultivation base but because of the baleful qi that dyed the world red from his body. How many divine transformation realm experts had this young man killed to have such terrifying baleful qi that could condense evil clouds? This young man is just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. However, why would the dignified Zichuan's soul tremble in front of him? Break! Ning Fan pointed his finger and the sword light shattered. Being drowned by the sword light, the armors of the two old giants of Kunwu were broken. They retreated from their Dharma images with severe injuries. Their cultivation base had almost dropped to the half-step void refinement realm. The group of 12 divine transformation realm experts and 100 nascent soul realm experts of the Purple Robe's palace began to wail in agony under the sword light. At the critical moment, Zichuan took out 3 more pieces of sword crystals and crushed them to cancel out the reflected sword light. Even so, the nascent soul realm experts of the Purple Robe's palace were all killed by Ning Fan. Even among the 12 divine transformation realm experts that Zichuan brought with him, 3 of them died and 4 of them were injured. Man Shan was not dead yet. If Ning Fan was half a step late and his body was destroyed by the sword qi, he would certainly choose to self-detonate and perish together with his enemies. At this moment, he was lucky enough to keep his life. Even though he was severely injured, he managed to break through the bottleneck of the void refinement realm because of it. It could be said that he had gained a lot. However, Ning Fan's chest was still filled with anger. In his world, he would always be alone. His cauldrons were just passers-by while his brothers were just a sad past. However, today, Man Shan's fearless aura and his determination to ask Liu Bei to avenge him made Ning Fan's cold blood unable to calm down. Today, no matter who you are, don't even think about walking out of the Star Sea alive. Puff, the two old men of Kunwu coughed out blood heavily. They were so angry that they laughed instead. Interesting. Interesting. An early divine transformation realm cultivator came out of nowhere and used some unknown method to absorb the sword chi and resist the sword light just because he thought that he was amazing. He even dared to say that he wants us to die in the Star Sea. Is there any joke more ridiculous than this in this world? However, at the next moment, the two old men of Kunwu were shocked when they met Ning Fan's gaze. At this moment, the baleful chi in the sky and the blood mist that covers 10,000 li turned into a gigantic blood eye that was condensed from baleful chi. When they met Ning Fan's gaze, the two old men of Kunwu felt as if they were being looked down at by that bloody eye from the heavens. It was a cold gaze that looked down on the common people. That kind of coldness was ingrained in his bones. It was the persistence of killing millions of people for the sake of his obsession. Baleful chi condenses into clouds. Baleful clouds condense into eyes. This young man is a natural genius in the Tao of killing. If the Slaughter Palace of the Four Heavens finds out about this, they will certainly recruit him as their disciple regardless of the cost. Why did they offend such a ruthless person? Rumor has it that the Slaughter Palace would only accept one disciple every 1,000 years. Each disciple would be a fiendish star that no one would dare to offend in the Four Heavens. However, no matter how monstrous Ning Fan's potential was and how strong his baleful chi was, the two old men of Kunwu did not believe that he had the strength to kill them in the Star Sea. However, if they find out what Ning Fan had done in the Star Sea during this period of time, they would definitely be scared away. If the two old men of Kunwu knew that Ning Fan, who was just below the blood ignition realm, could eat half-step void refinement realm beings like pigs and dogs, they would rather die than provoke him. Unfortunately, they were destined not to have the chance to find out. You are Liu Bei, right? Hee hee. Your potential is not bad. However, even if your cultivation base is twice as high, you are still not a match for us. I would like to see what kind of methods you have to kill the experts of my Purple Robe Palace in the Star Sea. The two old men of Kunwu sneered. They did not believe it. They still did not believe that Ning Fan had the strength to kill them. However, even if they did not believe it, why would Ning Fan need to explain it to them? I don't need to do it myself to kill all of you. All the slaves in the Star Sea, follow my order. Hurry up and head to the Star Island to kill the evil creatures of the Purple Robe Palace. Those who disobey shall have their entire clans annihilated. Ning Fan's voice instantly spread to 30,000 li. With the help of the evil clouds, his voice traveled even further. 300,000 li. 3 million li. Evil sound. This young man not only turned his evil into clouds, condensed his evil into his eyes, but also shattered his evil into sound. Zichuan's eyes were filled with shock. However, this shock turned into great astonishment in less than 10 breaths later. With the Star Island as the center, sea beasts were constantly flying out of the sea that could be seen with the naked eye. Their faces were filled with fear. There were 3 great forces that were closest to the Star Island. Each of them had brought 100,000 sea beasts with them. A total of 10 divine transformation realm experts were dispatched to reinforce the Star Island. The clan leaders of the 3 clans were divine transformation realm wilderness generals. However, facing Ning Fan, they did not even dare to raise their heads. Instead, they lowered their heads and cupped their fists in fear. The Flying Locust Clan, the Poison Ant Clan and the Mirage Devouring Clan have come to the Star Island late. Please forgive us, Star Lord. After 100 breaths, another 4 great forces hurriedly flew to the Star Island. Perhaps because they were too far away from each other, the 4 forces only sent out 4 great experts. However, each of them was at the peak divine transformation realm. The city lords of Murong City, Fallen Phoenix City, Chaotic Snow City and Hateful Heaven City have come late. Please forgive us, Star Lord. After 1,000 breaths, 3 half-step void refinement realm old men flew over from different directions. They looked at Ning Fan with complicated expressions. Eventually, they cupped their fists and bowed. The country lords of Dao Yen Country, Profound Sword Country and Heavenly Worship Country have come late. Please forgive us, Star Lord. The forces of the demon race that were further away could not come to the Star Island. However, they kept sending messages through the air using their flying swords. Each of them was a special kind of sound-transmitting flying sword that could only be activated at great cost. This kind of sound-transmitting flying sword could even transmit sound from hundreds of millions of li away in an instant. However, the number of words it could transmit was pitifully small. The sound-transmitting flying swords exploded one after another, turning into frightened voices. However, all of them were voices of flattery and obedience. The Guyun country has sealed off the sea region. The traitors must die when they arrive. Please forgive us, Star Lord. The Wolf King City has sent out their demon army. They will arrive at the Star Island in half a month. Please forgive us, Star Lord. The Northern Sea Star Dragon is ready to go after the traitors at any time. Please forgive us, Star Lord. The enemies of Ning Fan in the past were subdued one by one. In the past 2 months, Ning Fan had almost annihilated half of the wild beasts in the Greedy Wolf Star Ocean. No one dared to disobey him. None of them knew if Ning Fan would have another trump card that would cause him to burn his blood again. Who could stop him? Star Lord. They addressed Ning Fan as the Star Lord because in this Greedy Wolf Star Ocean, other than Ning Fan, even the Old Bear and the Star Dragon did not have the devil might to intimidate the entire Star Ocean. In the distance, where the sea and the sky met, the sea was densely packed with sea beasts that were rushing to reinforce them. At this moment, the 2 elders of Kunwu were afraid. This person was Liu Bei. With just a command from him, all the sea beasts within the sea would die for him. We must retreat. We can't stay in this Greedy Wolf Star Ocean any longer. They had no choice but to be fearful. What they were facing was not just Ning Fan alone but the power of the entire sea region. He was Liu Bei. He was the Star Lord of this Greedy Wolf Star Ocean. Retreat. Zichuan's eyes flashed with determination. He knew very well that if he doesn't retreat now, it would be impossible for him to do so anymore. However, before he could take out an escape treasure, Ning Fan directly took a step forward. His great momentum turned into a sword and sent Zichuan flying down from the sky. Trying to leave. Don't you think it's too late? Chapter 315. Ning Fan's domineering step caused Zichuan, who was caught off guard, to fall from the sky. Zichuan barely steadied himself, revealing a cold expression. How dare you hurt me? So what if I hurt you? Kill. There was no room for mercy. Just the forces sent to reinforce the Star Island were more than enough to annihilate the Purple Dress Palace. The 2 elders of Kunwu were surrounded by the 3 half-step void refinement realm experts. Within the blink of an eye, they were forced to retreat continuously. It was only a matter of time before they were killed. The other experts of the Purple Dress Palace were already surrounded by the sea of astral sea fiends, who mercilessly beat them up. Polite? There was no need to be polite with them. In the hearts of countless members of the Sea Clan, Ning Fan had already become the Star Lord of the Greedy Wolf Star Ocean. It was not only because of Ning Fan's devil might but also because Ning Fan could make the Star Lords of the other 2 seas fearful of him. After the Greedy Wolf Star Lord had left for thousands of years, he could stabilize the situation of the 3 seas and prevent the Greedy Wolf Star Sea from being bullied by the other seas. No beast in the Star Ocean dared to disobey the orders of the Star Lord. Not to mention winning with numbers and ganging up on these so-called upper realm heavenly prides. Even if they were outnumbered and risked their lives for Ning Fan like the old bear, there would still be many hot-blooded sea beasts that would follow Ning Fan's lead. With the strength of a single person, he overturned the sea of stars and wreaked havoc in the world. This person was qualified to be the master of the voracious wolf tribe. Wherever the Star Lord's sword pointed, the demons only needed to do one thing. Kill. 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 Old Bear was stunned. He had heard of hundreds responding to a single call. He had also heard a little about throwing a whip to break a river. However, such a scene where all the experts from the Sea of Stars showed up only happened during the War of the Three Seas. Ever since Ravenous Wolf disappeared and the Three Seas lost their balance, such battles had become rare. The Ravenous Wolf Star Ocean was split up and divided among the major forces. Excited. Lao Xiong was extremely excited. It had been many years since he had experienced such a group fight. He wanted to follow behind Ning Fan and give Zichuan a good beating. However, it was a pity that he could only dream about it. His two ugly wives would not let him risk his life when he was seriously injured. My husband, you cannot die. If you die, the two of us will not live alone. The two ugly wives were quite sincere. Scram. I don't want to die. I haven't lived long enough. Who would want to die if they could? Are you crazy? Lao Xiong couldn't fight, so he was very annoyed. Wu Yan's and Yu Linkong's beautiful faces turned pale. As the golden flame chariot descended, she ran and Yuan Yao came down from it. Now, the two of them were even more shocked. After a round of slaughter, Ning Fan actually became the lord of a group of beasts in the end? If this was in the human race, it would be unimaginable, but in the demon race, it was a normal thing. Why couldn't the strong be called kings? From the moment Ning Fan forced the two Star Lords to retreat, his devil might had risen to an unprecedented level. Even a half-step void refinement realm expert would not dare to disregard his orders. This little cucumber is too domineering. If I didn't injure myself, and if I didn't lose my cultivation, I would also want to have a fight with him. Yu Linkong recovered her boorish personality. Brother Liu Bei, you're amazing. She cheered from the side. Why did you call him brother? Also, your body. Wu Yan blushed. She could tell at a glance that she was no longer a virgin. 2 months ago, this little girl was still thinking about how to teach Ning Fan a lesson. 2 months later, she had already given herself to Ning Fan along with her body. Ai. It's all Sister Bei Yao's fault. It's all her fault for bewitching Liu Bei. She pointed at Yuan Yao and betrayed her. Bei Yao. This lady has a very noble aura. Is she a heaven's pride of the divine race? Wu Yan let out a faint sigh. She sighed because Ning Fan's ability to take in a harem was just too amazing. After going out for 2 months, he managed to get rid of Shiran and even took in one more person. Shiran, don't talk nonsense. Yuan Yao hurriedly covered Shiran's mouth with an embarrassed expression. She decided to bury what happened that day in her heart and never tell anyone about it. Yuan Yao's gaze swept across Ning Fan. She could not help but feel astonished. It was no wonder that she had never been attacked by any sea beasts ever since she was saved by Ning Fan. It turned out that the entire Sea of Stars had been subdued by Ning Fan, who was just an early divine transformation realm young man. It would be great if he was born in the Northern Heaven. With his aptitude and temperament, I'm afraid he would be able to be ranked in the top 3 of the Northern Heaven. No, perhaps he would be the first. If he's given enough time, even if he only cultivates the yin-yang transformation, perhaps he could also reach my level. Perhaps he could. Yuan Yao's phoenix-like eyes softened and a hint of expectation flashed across them. However, this expectation immediately turned into a self-mocking smile. What's wrong with me? That matter was just a ridiculous act. After the trip to the Star Palace, I probably won't meet him again. What am I looking forward to? How silly. Yuan Yao's gaze moved around the ladies and sighed softly. Ning Fan would not be lonely. He had countless beauties. why would he care about Bei Yao, who was merely a one-night stand? However, isn't this young man a little too bold? He even dared to kill the people of the Purple Robes Palace. Perhaps after I return to the Lost World Palace, I'll help him settle some troubles in the Northern Heaven. That would be better. Yuan Yao muttered to herself. Since the ladies still had the mood to let their imaginations run wild, it meant that there was no room for them to worry about the current situation. Basically, all the experts of the Purple Robes Palace were killed. The two Kunwu elders also turned into two incomplete primordial spirits in just a moment. They were captured by the three half-step void refinement realm experts and were prepared to offer them to Ning Fan later. Zichuan's expression turned gloomy. In just 10 breaths' time, all the forces on his side were annihilated. In other words, even though he was the first one to enter the Star Palace, all of them were defeated in the end. Let alone competing for the star of the Heavenly Emperor with the other Heaven's Pride experts, it would be difficult for him to survive. Break! Zichuan crushed another sword crystal and shot out an early Void Refinement Realm sword light. It was his 7th early Void Refinement Realm sword crystal. He brought a total of 10 sword crystals with him during this trip. 9 of them were early Void Refinement Realm and 1 of them was mid-Void Refinement Realm. Under the attack of the sword light from the sword crystal, the Divine Transformation Realm experts at the sides sucked in a cold breath and their faces were filled with fear. No wonder Old Bear was injured. No wonder Liu Bei Star Lord could stop Zichuan as soon as he arrived. Zichuan's cultivation base is not high, but his methods are quite ruthless. The 3 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts felt a chill down their spines when they saw Old Bear's miserable injuries. They could withstand this early Void Refinement Realm sword light. However, if they do, they would most likely become the next Old Bear. This sword light is a little tricky. Should we go and help the Star Lord? The 3 of them looked at each other and asked. However, their question was interrupted by Old Bear. No need. Have you all forgotten how strong this brat is? Have you all forgotten who was the one who destroyed the Star Sea alone? Have you all forgotten that the heaven-defying methods of this brat are not any weaker than the sword crystals? Looking at the incoming sword light, Ning Fan's eyes flashed. He imitated Old Bear's posture and opened his mouth to swallow it. Mountain devouring technique. With a sudden inhale, he absorbed the starlight into his abdomen and allowed the sword light to explode inside his body. His action made Old Bear and the others' expressions change. Damn! This Liu Bei imitated my demonic technique. However, my internal organs have been tempered for thousands of years to be able to swallow magic techniques and magic treasures. It's obvious that he has never tempered his internal organs before. How dare he swallow the sword light? Indeed, Ning Fan's internal organs could not withstand the sword light. However, at the moment when the sword light entered his body, he immediately shattered his body to disperse the sword force. At the moment when his black shadow condensed again, his fingertip tapped 17 times on the sword light at lightning speed. Eventually, he broke the momentum of the sword chi and kept the sword light back into his sleeve. After that, it condensed back into a piece of purple crystal and he stared at Zichuan coldly. You aren't a sword cultivator. This kind of sword chi is just a waste in your hands. Indeed, if Zichuan was proficient in the Tao of Sword, the power of this sword chi in his hands would definitely not be limited to this. Ning Fan also did not dare to risk his divine transformation realm cultivation to subdue this sword chi. The reason why Ning Fan was able to draw out Old Bear's sword chi and subdue it was not only because he had the sword consciousness and his incarnation. The biggest reason was that Zichuan's Tao of Sword was too weak. He was not a sword cultivator. He could use this sword crystal to deal with ordinary people. However, when facing experts in the Tao of Sword, the sword chi would be full of loopholes. As long as he finds the loopholes, it would not be difficult to seize the sword chi. Incarnation. You actually seized my sword chi with your incarnation. If Zichuan could still conceal the fact that Ning Fan had drawn out Old Bear's sword chi earlier, he could no longer remain calm after seeing Ning Fan subduing the Void Refinement Realm sword chi. Zichuan did not have a void fragmentation realm divine ability like incarnation. However, divine transformation realm experts who had incarnations were rare in the 9 worlds. Zichuan had met 1 or 2 people in the 4 heavens. However, those people definitely could not subdue the void refinement realm sword chi with their divine transformation realm cultivation base and incarnation techniques. Not only did Ning Fan have incarnations, but he also certainly had some kind of divine ability that was extremely effective against sword chi. Zichuan did not think about the sword sense, and there was no need for him to think about it either. What he needed to know was not how strong Ning Fan was. At this moment, he only wanted to protect himself. With his mid-divine transformation realm cultivation base, he could even fight against a late divine transformation realm expert. However, with the strength of a late divine transformation realm expert, he would not be able to escape from the encirclement of the sea of beasts and humans. I still have 3 traces of sword chi. The mid-void refinement realm sword chi must be used to save my life. Alright. I will use 2 traces of early divine transformation realm sword chi to eliminate Liu Bei. No matter how powerful this person's incarnation is, he is just an early divine transformation realm cultivator after all. If he can even withstand 2 void refinement realm attacks, I, Zichuan, will never be a match for him in my entire life. I don't believe that I will lose to him. Zichuan's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He broke 2 pieces of sword crystals in a row. This time, he tried to pull the sword light into a sword thread by relying on his not-so-profound cultivation base in the Tao of Sword. In the end, even though it looked like he had done it correctly, the 2 dazzling sword lights became much thinner and their power became much purer. It's another 2 traces of void refinement realm sword chi. Besides, this young man seems to have reached the threshold of transforming the sword into a thread. This young man is not simple. Should we help the Star Lord? The 3 half-step void refinement realm experts sounded a little timid. They did not even dare to fight against 2 traces of void refinement realm sword chi. Help my ass. What if the 2 Star Lords, 7 kills and army breaking star, were to receive this sword chi instead? Of course it would be easy. Especially the Star Lord of 7 kills who cultivates the sword wholeheartedly. Do you think the Star Lord would put this kind of weak sword chi in his eyes? The 3 half-step void refinement realm experts said disdainfully. That's right. Don't look down on Liu Bei. He used his own strength to scare away 2 Star Lords. Have you guys forgotten? The old bear might seem simple and honest, but he was actually very meticulous. A truly intelligent person would not show his intelligence on his face. A truly ruthless person would not nag and release his domineering aura everywhere. Just like Ning Fan, who was a man of few words and a little submissive. If he does not get angry, others would think that he was a sick cat. The old bear's words made the 3 half-step void refinement realm experts fall into deep thought. Their eyes became even more focused as they watched the battle between Ning Fan and Zichuan. In the past, they had only heard about how strong Ning Fan was. However, it was their first time seeing Ning Fan in action. What kind of method will the Star Lord use to block the 2 traces of void refinement realm sword chi? The eyes of the 3 of them were filled with anticipation. If they could learn even the slightest bit of benefit from Ning Fan's method, it would already be extremely good. Your sword is too weak. Transforming the sword into a thread isn't like that. Ning Fan's words were cold. Without any hesitation, he crushed the sword crystal. The combined attack of the 2 sword chis couldn't be achieved by relying on the incarnation. He couldn't bear to part with the precious sword crystal. As soon as the sword crystal shattered, the sword light appeared in Ning Fan's hand. Threads of sword silk were peeled off by Ning Fan and entangled in the clouds secretly. It gave people goosebumps just by looking at it. They had no idea how to deal with such a large amount of sword silk. The true sword transformation into silk. Zichuan's gaze dimmed. His pride had been defeated by Ning Fan time and time again. He could no longer be as arrogant as he was in the beginning. His bone age was 700 years, and he had cultivated to the middle stage of soul formation, so he thought that his talent was invincible. However, Ning Fan, who was standing in front of them, had a bone age of less than 400 years. Yet, he was proficient in many techniques such as incarnation, sword turning into threads and so on. Moreover, he could command the entire star sea and no one dared to disobey him. In front of Ning Fan, how could I be considered as a heaven's pride? But you definitely won't be able to take it. In Zichuan's palm, he secretly gripped the last sword crystal tightly. The sword chi attack of the mid-void refinement realm. Ning Fan was indifferent towards Zichuan's provocation. His vision was gradually shrouded by the sword light. His body was as straight as a sword as he pointed out 2 fingers. The first finger could shatter mountains. The second finger could shatter the heavens. Under these 2 fingers, Zichuan's face was filled with disbelief. Yuan Yao was even more shocked. Sword finger technique. Among the many sword techniques of the sword ancestor, only this sword finger technique was lost. I didn't expect it to fall into his hands. Sword finger. 5 fingers can kill immortals and 10 fingers can nirvana. The higher the realm of this technique, the more powerful it is. He actually has such a powerful technique. If he learns the 3rd finger, he can even destroy a void refinement realm expert with his current cultivation base. Unfortunately, Ning Fan's current cultivation base was far from enough to cultivate the 3rd finger. However, it was enough to break Zichuan's sword chi. Star Island, rivers and mountains, collapse. The black sun of the heavens, collapse. Layers of collapsing force gathered at the tip of Ning Fan's finger. With the help of the void refinement realm sword light, the power of the sword silk was unprecedentedly terrifying. This finger technique was displayed with the help of the sword crystal. No one below the void refinement realm could withstand it. Compared to Zichuan's clumsy method of controlling the sword crystal, Ning Fan's technique was like heaven and earth. It was impossible to obtain true strength by relying on external objects. Break. Just as Ning Fan uttered the word, Zichuan's 2 traces of sword chi collapsed. The sword light also collapsed at the right time and reformed into a sword crystal. As for Ning Fan's countless sword silk, it was like a tangled mess, making it impossible for Zichuan to evade. I'm not as good as him. I'm actually not as good as him. Zichuan gritted his teeth. He took out a purple jade pendant that was exquisitely carved from jade and crushed it. At the moment he crushed the jade pendant, purple winds suddenly rose in front of him, turning into 17 layers of purple chi barriers to protect him. However, under Ning Fan's sword silk, all of the 17 layers of barriers collapsed without exception. The remaining sword silk shook Zichuan's body and shattered his sword light. In the midst of the collapsing sword light, Zichuan's entire body was bathed in blood. His spiritual equipment and protective armor were shattered and he was beyond recognition. Ning Fan, on the other hand, caught the 2 pieces of sword crystal calmly. He had used up one and obtained the other 2. Liu Bei, I'll remember you. You're a strong expert. Zichuan took a deep breath and crushed the last mid-void refinement realm sword crystal in his sleeve. Zichuan's eyes suddenly flashed with madness when he sent out his sword chi with his palm. His finger seals changed abruptly, igniting his physical body and primordial spirit. Liu Bei, I'm looking forward to the battle above the 4 heavens with you. Life-burning technique, explode. His physical body exploded and his primordial spirit was incinerated into ashes. Zichuan detonated everything he had and channeled all the power of his self-destruction into that ray of sword light. Originally, his sword technique was far from enough to completely activate the destructive power of this sword light. However, when he risked his life and sacrificed his blood to the sword, it was different. This ray of sword light which was infused with blood chi was definitely not any weaker than the sure-kill attack of a true mid-void refinement realm sword cultivator. Under this ray of sword light, the Star Island was split into 2 without any warning. Even the sea of stars below was split in half by the sword light. This is bad. Now, We really have to help Liu Bei. Even the other two Star Lords would find it hard to withstand this ray of sword chi. No need. This sword light can be subdued. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. Zichuan seemed to have self-detonated and poured his blood chi into this sword. However, there were other settings. Zichuan's settings were that once this sword light is blocked by Ning Fan, he would disperse his blood chi, allowing Ning Fan to completely subdue this ray of sword chi. This last attack did not seem to be a fight to the death but a gift of sword chi, even though I witnessed Zichuan's death with my own eyes, judging from the words he said before he died and the gift of sword chi, he might not be dead yet. I'm afraid he escaped using some kind of ability that I can't understand. However, this last attack of his had dispersed all of his hostility. All that was left was an equal battle intent. This is a challenge. If he is really not dead, this will be the challenge letter that he issued to me. Wait for me to ascend to the four heavens and fight him. Ning Fan frowned. He did not like to cut the grass without removing the roots. However, at this moment, he had no choice but to block this ray of sword chi. Star positioning plate, appear. He pointed a finger at his glabella and took out a starlight formation plate. All of a sudden, a dense star map spread under his feet and 30,000 star lamps rose. Ignite. He channeled all of his magic power into the star positioning plate, making only 5,000 star lamps light up. 5,000 star lamps were enough to withstand the attack of a half-step void refinement realm expert. However, it was still not enough. Soul extraction. Ning Fan clawed at the sea of stars with his 5 fingers and displayed the soul extraction technique. The demons who knew that he knew the soul extraction technique were not surprised. However, Yuan Yao did not know about it. That was why she was surprised once again. This divine transformation realm expert whom she had underestimated a little had actually mastered the soul extraction technique. This person's innate potential was rarely matched by anyone in the young generation. As he displayed the soul extraction technique, Ning Fan's magic power increased to the late divine transformation realm, making 9,999 star lamps light up. He gritted his teeth and suddenly changed his hand seal. 10,000 star lamps lit up. At this moment, the star formation of the star positioning plate was enough to defend against a true early void refinement realm attack. Not enough. It's still not enough. In order to block this mid-void refinement realm sword light, he must light up 30,000 star lamps. Since he could not use his magic power to light up the star lamps, he would use the power of the broken treasures to light them up. After washing the sea of stars with blood, Ning Fan took out the demon treasures one by one and crushed them. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, from the lowest grade pill treasures to the highest grade spiritual treasures, all of them were crushed. As the star lamps were lit up one after another, the power of the star map rose steadily. When he had crushed 1,000,000 demon treasures, 30,000 star lamps were lit up. The silver flames from the 30,000 star lamps turned into countless layers of silver light walls. When the mid-void refinement realm sword chi hit the star walls, it caused them to crumble and the star formation to become unstable. However, the power of the sword chi would weaken a little every time it broke a star wall. When the last star wall collapsed, the power of the sword chi was almost depleted. Ning Fan was also in a state of overdrafting his magic power. Looking at the sword chi which had lost 90% of its power, Ning Fan formed his 5 fingers into a claw and grabbed the sword light. Break! After the sword light shattered, it condensed into a sword crystal. At this moment, the entire star island fell into dead silence. Each of the sea beasts wore an expression of disbelief. The Star Lord blocked the mid-void refinement realm sword chi. What kind of magic treasure is this? Its defensive power is heaven-defying. Yuan Yao was the only one who heaved a sigh of relief. She was not only glad that Ning Fan blocked the sword light but also glad that Zichuan did not die. Zichuan is an abandoned person of that clan. Liu Bei, no matter how many geniuses you have killed in the Star Palace, I have ways to cover it up for you. However, Zichuan is the only one who cannot be hidden. However, you don't have to worry. Even if you really kill Zichuan, the Lost World Palace is still around. Yuan Yao smiled bitterly. This is all I can do for you. For the time being, consider it as me repaying you for protecting me. Outside the Star Palace, in the void, many forces occupied their own areas, trying to get out of the maze formation. Some of them also tried to tear the void apart, but all of them failed in the end. Fuck. Who is so wicked to set up a maze formation outside the Star Palace? Shameless. Someone cursed non-stop. Wei Xian was the one who got shot. Fuck. Why are the people of the Purple Robe Palace so lucky to be at the place where the maze formation was broken? They tore the void apart and entered the Star Palace. Sigh. The people of the Purple Robe Palace are really lucky. Look. What's that purple light? A trace of purple primordial spirit appeared in the maze formation out of nowhere. At the place where it appeared, there was a purple grass doll hiding in the void. As the purple smoke appeared, the grass doll immediately trembled and self-combusted. As for the purple divine thread, it gradually grew stronger in the purple flames. Eventually, it turned into a young man in purple robes. It was none other than Zichuan. As Ning Fan expected, he really did not die. Isn't that the Purple Dress Palace's young master Zichuan? Didn't he enter the Constellation Palace? Why did he come out? And he's even injured so badly. Purple grass art, it's definitely the purple grass art. Rumor has it that the strongest secret technique of the Purple Robe Palace is the creation of purple-robed grass dolls. As long as a trace of primordial spirit is attached to the grass dolls, they will be able to take the place of death. I can't believe that there are still people who can create purple-robed grass dolls in this era. Could it be that the people from the Purple Dress Palace were annihilated after entering the Star Palace for only 2 hours? No way. It seems that Zichuan was the only one who came out. The prodigies of the four heavens were all astonished. Some were fearful of the mysterious Star Palace, some were on their guard, and there were even some who took the opportunity to mock Zichuan. The White Demon Sect's Lin Su was one of the people who was happy to mock Zichuan. This person was already at the late stage of the soul formation stage. Seeing that Zichuan was in trouble, he immediately prepared to kill him. Moments later, when she saw Zichuan's crazed eyes, Lin Su stopped in her tracks and her gaze changed. The Zichuan of today seemed to be different from the past. He was no longer arrogant and aloof. Instead, he had the ambition to advance bravely. Hee. A mere mid-divine transformation realm cultivator dares to come to the Star Palace to seek fortuitous encounters. How is it? It seems that all the people you brought with you are dead. It turns out that the first person to enter the Star Palace is not that amazing after all. Lin Su mocked. If your White Demon Sect were to enter the Starry Sea and encounter that person, the only thing awaiting you would be death. In fact, you might not even have my purple grass technique to save your life from that person's hands. That person is the strongest prodigy of this generation that I have ever seen. You, Lin Su, reached the late divine transformation realm in 1200 years. Your aptitude is only average in the White Demon Sect. However, in front of that person, you can't even withstand a single blow. You talk big. I, Lin Su, really want to know who is the one who annihilated your Purple Dress Palace. His name is Liu Bei. However, you don't want to meet him. He is very strong. Very strong. This strength is not referring to his cultivation but his Tao. His Tao has a kind of crazy mentality. If I were to make an analogy, it would be like this person dares to fight against an immortal emperor even though he is only a mortal. I have this kind of feeling from him. A mortal? Fight against an immortal emperor. Zichuan, could it be that your mind is not clear after you died once? Is an immortal emperor someone that a mortal can fight against? Lin Su. I won't talk to you anymore. In the future, we will fight again in the sect competition between the Purple Dress Palace and the White Demon Sect. However, you might not be able to live until that moment. The White Demon Sect can't suppress the Purple Dress Palace forever. If your White Demon Sect continues to act willfully, there will be a day when someone will investigate and take revenge for what happened to the Black Devil Sect. That day might be the day that the White Demon Sect is destroyed. You have to remember this. Zichuan let out a cold harumph and teleported away. He no longer had any greed towards the Star of the Heavenly Emperor. He had been relying too much on external objects. Before the next official battle with Ning Fan, he wanted to get rid of all external objects and improve his own strength. He wanted to strive for perfection. Liu Bei, I won't lose to you the next time. After Zichuan left, Lin Su's eyes flashed with cold light and said to the two half-step void refinement realm experts beside her with dissatisfaction. Senior brothers, why didn't you seize the opportunity to kill this person? Zichuan can't be killed. The two people who were addressed as senior brothers were not the same age as Lin Su. Both of them had white hair and white beards. Their bone ages were over 4,000 years old. Why can't I kill him? Give me a reason. There is a rumor that Zichuan is an abandoned person of that clan. Even if he is an abandoned person, given the domineering nature of that clan, they won't allow anyone to harm him. What? He actually. Humph. No wonder this young man's aptitude is slightly better than mine. He is just a trash who relies on his bloodline. Lin Su said disdainfully. Then, she revealed a cold smile. The person who made Zichuan speechless seems to be an expert called Liu Bei. Liu Bei. This person is just bullying the weak Zichuan. If he encounters me, even if he is a Heaven's Pride expert, he will still be trampled under my feet. Chapter 316. The intruders from the Purple Robe Palace were all killed. After getting Ning Fan's permission, the group of beasts in the Star Sea retreated. Even though the old bear's injuries were severe, his life was not in danger with the 6th revolution pill that Ning Fan gave him. It was just a matter of time for him to recover. Once he recovers, he could even try to break through the bottleneck of the void refinement realm. Liu Bei. I've risked my life to help you. You can't leave me out if you get any benefits. The old bear's smile was very cunning and not honest at all. Ning Fan did not answer him, but he did not deny it either. On the Star Island, millions of sea beasts knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Ning Fan with respectful expressions. She ran, and the other women would never forget that scene for the rest of their lives. After that battle, Ning Fan managed to block the mid-void refinement realm sword light. In other words, even if he faced the attacks of 2 Star Lords, he might not be able to win, but he would not lose either. He could probably use the star positioning plate to block their attacks. Almost no one doubted Ning Fan becoming the Star Lord of the Greedy Wolf Sea anymore. He had speed and defense. Even if his cultivation base was not high, he was already innately invincible. Disperse. As Ning Fan gave his order, countless shadows of beasts left the Star Island. The southern island became quiet again. It had been 3 days since Ning Fan returned to the island. He adjusted his breathing and magic power to return to his peak state. It was still the same cave dwelling. The walls of the cave were inlaid with moonlight stones. The gentle light reflected from them made Ning Fan feel absent-minded. He silently walked out of the cave dwelling and looked at the starry sky. Then, he gently closed his eyes. It has been 30 years since I left you country. 30 years to the east and 30 years to the west. Is Jihe doing well? 30 years in a mortal's life is half of a lifetime. 30 years in a cultivator's life is just considered as a long seclusion and a massacre. Along the way, my hands were stained with blood and sins. However, I have no regrets and I have a clear conscience. I would rather kill the common people than let them kill me. This is the cruel reality of the cultivation world. In the past, in your country, a 10th level vein opening realm cultivator is considered a genius, a harmonious spirit realm cultivator is considered a heavenly prodigy, and a gold core realm cultivator is considered an old ancestor. However, I am now the Lord of the Star Sea. I control the lives of billions of pill beasts. No one can stop me in a low-grade cultivation country. In a mid-grade cultivation country, I can destroy it with a single palm. In high-grade cultivation countries, ordinary divine transformation realm old ancestors would have to take a detour when they see me. Even in the Rain Palace, I can still be a revered elder of the palace. However, it's still not enough. I went through a lot of trouble to refine the star fixing plate. I had to break 1,000,000 Dharma treasures to activate the star defense array. However, that Zichuan could casually make a move and have 10 pieces of sword crystals in his hands. Compared to those higher domain prodigies, I still lack the support of a powerful background. But they can't compare to me. I have my own Tao. Although my body is weak, my Tao can even be crushed by a single glance from immortal Emperor Zhangqing. A lonely and desolate aura rose around Ningfan's body. In the solitude, there was an unyielding faith. The great Tao was a cage, and cultivators were trapped beasts. Some were trapped to death, and some were still fighting. Ningfan opened his eyes and said indifferently without turning his head. Aren't you going to have a good rest? You've broken a bit of the seal and recovered to the late nascent soul stage. Thanks to your care, I should be able to recover to the peak of the nascent soul stage in 3 days. 10 days later, I should be able to recover to the soul formation stage. Once I reach the divine transformation realm, I should be able to protect myself with my methods. After entering the Heaven Palace, I will leave immediately to prevent the realm beasts that might exist from attacking you. Yuan Yao stepped on the fallen leaves and stopped beside Ningfan. Her eyes were as clear as water. Recovering to the divine transformation realm in 10 days? I can help you break some of the seals and help you recover to the divine transformation realm in 1 night. However, due to the limitation of my cultivation realm, I can only help you recover to the early divine transformation realm at most. You still have to rely on yourself for the rest. Do you really want me to leave earlier? Yuan Yao gently bit her lips. In fact, she had lied to Ningfan. She only needed 3 days to break some of the seals and recover to the early divine transformation realm. The reason why she decided to leave after attaining the divine transformation realm was because she did not want to owe Ningfan too many favors. She purposely delayed the time needed to recover to the divine transformation realm because she did not know why she was reluctant to part with Ningfan. Perhaps, she had never been cared for and protected by anyone before and she missed the time when Ningfan shielded her from the wind and rain. Perhaps, she was unable to truly forget the absurdity of that night. She did not know. The only thing she knew was that she was determined to leave after 10 days. However, Ningfan said that he could help her recover to the divine transformation realm in 1 night. Was he trying to chase her away? All right. After tonight, I will leave. You. What are you doing? How dare you? Yuan Yao could not help but feel a sense of disappointment. However, just as this feeling rose, her soft hand was held by Ningfan. She could not help but feel a little annoyed. She was annoyed by Ningfan's frivolous behavior. How could she let a man touch her skin with her identity? However, there seemed to be a hint of hesitation in her heart. Ningfan did not hold her hand tightly. She could withdraw her hand but she did not. What am I doing? What I cultivate is the yin-yang transformation. The way to help you break the seals is obviously through dual cultivation. As if he was doing it on purpose, Ningfan's expression became frivolous and he sealed Yuan Yao's lips with his lips. How dare you? Yuan Yao had the arrogance of being above thousands of people. This arrogance could tolerate an accidental absurdity but it would not tolerate a second blasphemy. That kiss made Yuan Yao's mind restless. She forcefully pulled her wrist away and bit Ningfan's lips. After breaking free from Ningfan's blasphemy, Yuan Yao hurriedly retreated and leaned against the stone wall. Her breasts were heaving up and down and her face was flushed red with anger. Do you think you can possess me after doing it with me once? You are shameless. It's impossible for me to dual cultivate with you. I was just joking. To help you break the seals, there is no need for dual cultivation. I just need the help of this Gu King token. I didn't expect you to hate me so much. That bite was really ruthless. Ning Fan's teasing expression disappeared. His teeth were biting on a piece of translucent jade. This item was what Ning Fan inserted into Yuan Yao's body to suppress the rotten immortal poison. This item was very useful to further remove the seals of the realm beast. Thus, Ning Fan took it out with a kiss. However, there were traces of blood on the small token. It was the blood that Yuan Yao bit. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were taking the token. I thought. Yuan Yao's mind was in a mess. At this moment, she was flustered like a child who had done something wrong. You thought I wanted to rape you before your cultivation base recovered? Am I actually this kind of person in your eyes? Ning Fan made a self-deprecating smile. He produced a purplish golden mist on the Gu King token and handed it to Yuan Yao's palm. This token contains a magic technique of mine which has a miraculous effect on breaking seals. I could have broken the seals of the realm beast in one go. However, I was worried that your injuries would not be able to withstand your previous magic power. That's why I didn't do it. It's not that I can't do it. As long as your injuries are healed, I can help you break the 2 layers of seals within a day and let you become a true immortal of the Shedding Void realm again. However, you don't have to worry. Even though I'm not a gentleman, I'm not a villain either. I'm neither kind nor evil. However, I have never gone back on my words. Even if it's a void fragmentation realm or a true immortal that's hunting you down, I will never break my promise even if I have to die a horrible death. You don't have to worry. Ning Fan's expression became a little cold. He turned around and returned to his cave residence, leaving Yuan Yao alone. Under the moonlight, under the starlight and in the night breeze, Yuan Yao suddenly felt a little wronged. She did not like Ning Fan looking at her with a cold gaze. I didn't do it on purpose. You were too reckless and didn't even tell me. After saying that, Yuan Yao suddenly became silent. Naturally, Ning Fan did not tell Yuan Yao in advance that he was going to kiss her and suck out the Gu King token. If he did, would Yuan Yao let Ning Fan kiss her? Perhaps, with her arrogant personality, she would rather not break the seal than lose this kiss. At this moment, she could no longer tell what was right and what was wrong. She could not even tell if Ning Fan's kiss was just to take the token or if he had already fallen in love with her. Liu Bei, we can't. This is wrong. After calming herself down, Yuan Yao finally regained her composure and put away all of her frailty. Originally, she would not show any expression of frailty. However, her mental state would inevitably be affected when she fell from the Shedding Void realm to the nascent soul realm. If her cultivation base recovers, she would no longer show any signs of frailty. Yuan Yao gently placed the Gu King token in her palm into her mouth. Immediately, her face turned red. There was still Ning Fan's saliva mixed with blood on the token. Taking the token and swallowing it was no different from another indirect kiss. If the 4 heavens were to find out that the dignified palace lord of the Lost World Palace actually did not follow the rules of a woman and had skin contact with an unfamiliar man, she would certainly die. The action of biting Ning Fan was just her instinct to protect herself. Liu Bei. Even though this is an absurd fate, if it's just a trip to the Star Palace, I, Yuan Yao, will guarantee your safety, I promise. Chapter 317. Ning Fan stood in front of the temporary pill recipe in his cave dwelling for the entire night. He had gained a lot from this trip. Goo worms could improve his spirit sense, demon blood could improve his cultivation base and Dao fruits were also great nourishment. There were a lot of good things but Ning Fan did not have much time. Zichuan's appearance was a reminder to him. Since the Purple Robe Palace could enter the Star Palace, the other forces would probably enter soon. There are 3 more days before the star door opens. Within 3 days, I want to awaken my medicine soul and rebuild Whalyang Sea of consciousness with the power of the purple Ganoderma. Early in the morning, birds chirped. Shiran got up and entered the pill room as usual. When she saw Ning Fan, she was immediately surprised. Brother Liu Bei, aren't you asleep? It's fine. Sleep is not essential to cultivators. Oh, then what happened to your mouth? The little girl's curiosity was aroused. I bit it myself. Oh, the little girl nodded her head, but her eyes were filled with interest. She might be naive, but she was not stupid. This wound was clearly a bite mark, and it was caused by the reverse bite. Could Liu Bei bite himself to cause such a wound? My essence qi has recovered today. It's time to awaken my medicine soul. Today. But I haven't prepared any pain-relieving pills for you. It's going to be very painful. Shiran was slightly worried. It's all right. Ning Fan was not concerned. Then, all right. I'll set up the medicine formation first. You help me at the side. Here, take this and this. Shiran was no longer a silly little girl when it came to matters related to pill refinement. She had the temperament of a pill refinement grandmaster even though she was small. Shiran took out spiritual herbs one after another and set up the formation core of the pill recipe. In just 1 hour, she had set up a mysterious formation that was enshrouded in dense medicinal mist. This formation was neither for attack nor defense nor to trap enemies. Its only use was to condense medicine qi and medicine mist. The moment the formation was formed, the pill room was filled with the fragrance of medicine. It was a low-grade divine transformation grand formation, medicine gathering formation. Shiran was not proficient in the Tao of formations. This medicine gathering formation was one of the few formations that she had mastered. As a peak 5th revolution pill refinement master, Shiran naturally had to master the method to awaken her medicine soul. After all, if she accepts a disciple in the future, she would need to awaken her disciple's medicine soul and guide her to the 5th revolution. Shiran's eyes were filled with pride. Big brother Liu Bei. Humph. No. Disciple Liu Bei, you can enter the formation now. I will help you awaken your medicine soul. Her every move was methodical, but Shiran's words were immature and lacked power. Not only did it not sound like a conversation between a master and his disciple, it sounded more like a lover's flirting. All right, little master Shiran. I'll leave the rest to you. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. He took out the soul-refining sand and consumed all of it. Then, he entered the center of the medicinal mist formation and sat down cross-legged. Please. Don't worry. You already have a medicine soul. It won't be difficult to awaken it. If you ask me so seriously, I will feel embarrassed. Shiran's face turned red, and she put in more effort to control the formation. The medicine soul was actually the unique ability of a 5th revolution pill master. If he could not comprehend the divine intent, he would not be able to concoct a 5th revolution pill. If he could not condense a medicine soul, he would not be able to improve his pill refinement mastery to the 5th revolution. Ancient Chaos's memories had given Ning Fan the inheritance of pill refinement. However, that inheritance stopped at the 5th revolution. If he wanted to go further in alchemy in the future, he would have to rely on himself. Awakening his medicine soul was the first step. After that, if he wanted to improve his pill refinement technique, he would have to continuously accumulate experience and hone his pill refinement technique through a large amount of pill refinement. Only by cultivating both the yin-yang transformation and pill refinement technique at the same time could he achieve the fastest cultivation speed. Neither of them could be neglected. Brother Liu Bei, use the hand seals I gave you to gather your soul power and absorb the medicine qi. Quick. Ning Fan took a deep breath and closed his eyes. His fingers moved rapidly. Traces of green light seemed to be extracted from his soul. Under the illumination, Ning Fan looked like a man made of green light. At the moment when the green light appeared, all the medicine qi in the formation began to entangle with it. After being tempered by the soul refining sand, it eventually merged with the green light, causing the green color within the green light to become denser. The soul refining sand was like sandpaper. When it rubbed against his soul, it was naturally extremely painful. However, Ning Fan had already endured this kind of pain countless times. He did not care about it at all. He just stared at the green light with joy in his eyes. That green light was Ning Fan's medicine soul. The so-called medicine soul was the soul light that was condensed from medicine qi. It was the ability to distinguish and sense spiritual herbs. The 5th revolution green, the 6th revolution black and the 7th revolution purple. Different pill refinement techniques would result in different colors of the soul light. The green color meant that Ning Fan's pill refinement technique was at the 5th revolution. When the green color deepened, the quality of his medicine soul would improve and his pill refinement technique would also improve. When the green light became denser to a certain extent, Ning Fan suddenly opened his eyes. Green qi rose from his body like clouds. That green qi was a kind of insight that could directly reach one's soul. It was the unique aura of a pill refinement grandmaster. At this moment, Ning Fan finally understood why Shi Ran's temperament was completely different whenever she talked about spiritual herbs. In fact, that unique temperament was brought about by her medicine soul. Brother Liu Bei, I did it. Shi Ran's face lit up with joy. She was just that pure and innocent. She would be nice to whoever treats her well. I did it. Ning Fan suddenly stood up and opened his mouth to suck in the medicinal mist of the grand formation, nourishing his medicine soul that had just been awakened. So this is a medicine soul. Ning Fan tried to activate his medicine soul. Faint green qi shone around his body and his state of mind immediately became as calm as still water. Not only could the medicine soul improve a pill refinement master's senses, but it could also achieve the effect of calming one's mind after activating it. Just because a pill refinement grandmaster had a medicine soul, they could not be disturbed by external things and concentrate on pill refinement. He patted his storage pouch and took out some spiritual herbs. He realized that after awakening his medicine soul, his ability to identify spiritual herbs had increased by several times. There was a tuft of 5,000 years old thunder yellow essence in his palm. Before awakening his medicine soul, Ning Fan could only judge that this spiritual herb was 5,000 years old. Now, however, he could accurately judge that this spiritual herb was around 5,400 years old. Black flames rose from his fingertips. Along with the awakening of his medicine soul, his control over flames had also improved. Humph. The feeling of awakening your medicine soul isn't bad, right? It's all my credit. Shi Ran raised her small face as if she was begging for a reward. It's indeed a great credit. Let me think about how I should reward you. Ning Fan pretended to be deep in thought. I don't want a lot of rewards. Just give me back my 1 billion immortal jade. Before the little girl could finish feeling proud of herself, she suddenly felt a hot breath blowing into her ear. Before she could react, her small, fair face was kissed by Ning Fan. This is the reward. Ning Fan smiled. His figure flashed and disappeared without a trace. As for Shi Ran, she covered her small face as if she was petrified. A moment later, she looked at the direction where Ning Fan had left and gradually regained her senses. Her small, fair face turned red and she clenched her fists as if she wanted to beat someone up. Stinky Liu Bei. You bully me. You took advantage of me. You bullied me. I don't want to be with you anymore. Shi Ran stomped her feet in embarrassment. He's too shameless. A kiss is worth 1 billion immortal jade. Does he, Liu Bei, think that he's so handsome? At most, it's worth 50 million immortal jade, humph. I've decided. Stinky Liu Bei still owes me 950 million immortal jade. If Ning Fan knew that a kiss of his was worth 50 million immortal jade in Shi Ran's eyes, he would probably not know whether to laugh or cry. It was the same kiss, but the result was different when it landed on different women. Ning Fan did not consider these thoughts at all. He did not have much time to awaken his medicine soul. He must ask for the star-tempering purple zoysha from the old bear within 3 days to repair the female corpse's sea of consciousness. The improvement of the quality of my medicine soul doesn't necessarily mean that my pill refinement technique will improve. However, every pill refinement grandmaster certainly has a strong medicine soul. There's no doubt about it. Now that I've awakened my medicine soul, my pill refinement technique has improved tremendously. However, there's still a long way to go before I reach the mid-grade 5th revolution pill refinement technique. Ning Fan moved a few times and arrived at the northern part of the island from the south. He stopped at an ancient tree that towered into the sky and walked towards the rift valley at the end of the ancient tree. That place was the old bear's lair. Naturally, there were many demon beasts guarding there. However, when they saw that it was Ning Fan, not only did no one stop him, but many demon beasts even stood at the roadside and saluted him. "Greetings, Star Lord. King Man has ordered that if you come, you can directly enter King Man's valley without any prior notice." How are Man Shan's injuries? Thanks to Lord's 6th revolution pill, His Majesty's injuries have been completely stabilized. He only needs to rest and recuperate. It is only a matter of time before he fully recovers. That's good. Ning Fan nodded his head. Now that Man Shan's condition has stabilized, he felt slightly relieved. Along the way into the Barbarian King Valley, the patrolling demonic beasts started to discuss among themselves. Star Lord didn't come here for the star-tempering purple zoysha, right? It should be. The Barbarian King promised that if the Star Lord asks for it, he can take half of it. However, the Grand Elder doesn't seem to agree. After all, this star-tempering purple zoysha is the life-saving item of the Grand Elder. If it is given to an outsider, considering the Great Elder's injury, sigh. This matter is really troublesome. The Great Elder is not an ordinary person. Rumor has it that he even dared to contradict the greedy wolf Star Lord. That's why he was left with such an injury. If it wasn't for the Great Elder's severe injuries, he would have succeeded the position of Star Lord after the greedy wolf Star Lord left that year. With the Great Elder's temper, he wouldn't have fought with the Star Lord, would he? In a pitch-black cave in the Barbarian King Valley, Old Bear rubbed his palms and smiled apologetically at a coffin. "My father-in-law, can't we discuss this matter? Just give half of the star-tempering purple zoysha to that Liu Bei. Is that all right?" "Humph. Barbarian Mountain. Do you think I don't want to give the purple zoysha to that outsider because I don't want to give up my life? My injury is nothing. However, the biggest wish of us star spirits is to break away from our star bodies and form our demon bodies. I don't have any hope of that. A single star-tempering purple zoysha isn't enough for you, Jean Air and Yin Air. How can I give it to an outsider? Cough cough. Don't mention this matter again." Old Bear revealed a troubled expression. On one side was Liu Bei while on the other side was his father-in-law. He was in a difficult position. At this critical moment, a message-transmitting flying sword exploded in the secret chamber. "Reporting to my king. The Star Lord is already waiting in the main hall." Old Bear smiled bitterly. He could guess that Ning Fan had probably come for the star-tempering purple zoysha. He did not dare to refuse to give it to him, but his father-in-law would not agree to it. "Can we discuss this matter again?" "Get lost. You coward. Forget it. This old man will personally go and see what kind of person this Star Lord Liu who instills fear in the Sea of Stars is. It has been thousands of years since he left this coffin." A ray of starlight flashed out of the coffin and turned into a skinny and small old man. This old man looked as if he would fall to the ground with every step he took. However, the sharpness in his eyes showed that he was a strong and stubborn man. Especially his aura force. Because of his injuries, it fluctuated up and down. At its lowest, it was not even comparable to the vein opening realm. At its highest, it was comparable to the void refinement realm. Lead the way. The old man stomped his foot and the northern island shook violently. This stomp was more than enough to crush a peak divine transformation realm cultivator to death. Chapter 318. The northern part of the island was shaking. In the main hall, Ning Fan was inwardly shocked. The person who stepped on the island has such great strength. Unless he is a void refinement realm expert, no one else would have such a technique. However, the person who stepped on the island was obviously exhausted. He seemed to be injured. Could it be that there is a severely injured void refinement realm expert hiding on this star island? Ning Fan muttered to himself. Star Lord, you really have a good eye. To be honest, the person who stepped on the island was probably my father. He is the great elder of Man King Valley and also the former lord of the Star Island, Man Xiong. Just like his name, my father doesn't have a good temper. Moreover, because of the star-tempering purple Zoisha, he seems to have some prejudice against you. The reason why he stepped on the island was probably because he heard about your arrival and wanted to challenge you. I hope you won't be offended. The two ugly women immediately explained. Ning Fan nodded his head. It turned out that the injured void refinement realm expert was Man Shan's father-in-law. If he did not know Man Shan, he would not feel guilty even if he destroyed the entire Star Island. However, he still owed Man Shan a huge favor today. Killing his father-in-law was really a beastly act. Humph. So what if I'm offended? I won't be frightened by a child. Just as the ugly women finished their words, a cold harumph resounded. Along with this cold harumph, a ray of starlight flashed and two people appeared. These two people were Man Shan and another skinny little old man. What was funny was that the skinny little old man was carrying Man Shan as he flew all the way here. Even though he was skinny and small, his aura force was experienced and strong. It made all the demon beasts in the main hall feel suffocated. However, when this aura force reached Ning Fan, it strangely split into two and dispersed. An early divine transformation realm cultivator actually managed to withstand my aura force? The old man casually threw Man Shan on the ground. Immediately, the two ugly women helped Man Shan up in distress. This fellow is still severely injured. As for the old man himself, he looked at Ning Fan in surprise. Junior Liu Bei greets Senior Man Xiong. Ning Fan put down his teacup and stood up calmly. He then cupped his fists at Man Xiong. His greeting surprised Man Xiong again. Originally, he did not believe it when he heard that an early divine transformation realm cultivator could turn the entire sea of stars upside down. Now that he saw Ning Fan with his own eyes, he had no choice but to believe it. I can't be wrong. Ning Fan was definitely just an early divine transformation realm expert. However, there was a silent demonic aura coming from his body. That aura force was like a demon with ancestral blood who stood at the peak of the demon world, looking down on the common people like ants. As a member of the demon race, no one could threaten him unless their bloodline surpassed his. Ancestral blood. Man Xiong's eyes narrowed as he thought of this possibility. Experts who possess ancestral blood are not to be trifled with. If Ning Fan possesses ancestral blood and comes to ask for the star-tempering purple Zoisha, Man Xiong would really have to give him some face. What surprised Man Xiong the most was Ning Fan's politeness. Isn't there a rumor in the outside world that Ning Fan kills people like scything flax, is extremely arrogant and has no regard for anyone? Why was he so polite to an old man like him? Afraid of his cultivation? No. Even if he wasn't, he was only at the early stage of the void refinement stage, which was weaker than the Star Lords. However, Ning Fan still dared to attack two Star Lords and force them out of the hollow space. This Ning Fan was not afraid of void refinement realm experts at all. The reason why he was so polite to him was probably because he was Man Shan's elder. When he thought of this, Man Xiong's impression of Ning Fan immediately changed by 180 degrees. He could tell that Ning Fan was only arrogant towards his enemies. He was very easygoing towards his own people. This young man is not as simple as what the outside world says. Man Xiong lived by the principle of, if someone shows me a foot of respect, I will show them 10 feet of respect. Since Ning Fan was polite to him, he also felt embarrassed to keep a straight face. Of course, it was a matter of principle. Man Xiong's cold expression faded a little and he cupped his fists to return Ning Fan's greeting. You're a great figure. However, I can't give you the star-tempering purple zoisha. You should leave. He went straight to the point. Man Xiong did not like to beat around the bush. His words blocked Ning Fan's way of talking. Father. The two ugly women were a little nervous. They had seen with their own eyes that Ning Fan had a magic treasure which could withstand the attack of a mid-void refinement realm expert on the Star Island. If they anger Ning Fan, no one on the Star Island would be able to stop him. Shut up. Man Shan, send our guest away. Man Xiong was also someone who was used to seeing grand occasions. Even if Ning Fan had ancestral blood, he would not be able to suppress him. Ning Fan stood up and looked at Man Shan in silence. He could not forget the heroic words that Man Shan said in order to protect Ning Fan's woman. Therefore, in order to return this favor, Ning Fan would never kill anyone on the northern island no matter how unreasonable the old man was. Brother Liu Bei, you should go back first. I will try to persuade my father-in-law. Man Shan said awkwardly. It's all right. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with disappointment. He cupped his fists at Man Xiong. He was not afraid of killing people. However, for the sake of Old Bear, he had to suppress his killing intent. He did not like to beg others. However, for the sake of Wei Yang, he had no other choice. Even if he was captured by the old devil and might die, he did not ask for anything. He just threw the yin-yang locket at the old devil's head. Ning Fan's fingernails pierced into his palm and he closed his eyes. This was the first time he begged someone. Senior Man Xiong, my wife, Wei Yang, has died and turned into a corpse. Her sea of consciousness was completely shattered. I don't want to revive her. I just want her sea of consciousness to recover a little bit of her intelligence. I need the star-tempering purple zoisha. I need this item to guide starlight into her body and repair her sea of consciousness. As the price, I am willing to give you 3/6 revolution pills in exchange for half of the purple zoisha. 3/6 revolution pills. Man Xiong's expression changed and his expression changed. 6th revolution pills were precious items to void refinement realm old monsters. In this sea of stars where pill refinement masters were rare, there was not even a single 5th revolution pill refinement master. 6th revolution pills were even more of a legend. Previously, when the old bear said that Ning Fan had a void fragmentation realm background, Man Xiong did not believe it. When the old bear said that Ning Fan would give him 6th revolution pills, Man Xiong did not believe it. However, at this moment, when Ning Fan said that he had 6th revolution pills with sincerity, Man Xiong was already 70% convinced. What surprised Man Xiong the most was that someone like Ning Fan would actually ask for help. Man Xiong could tell that Ning Fan had the ability to cleanse the entire Star Island with blood. Snatching the star-tempering purple zoisha would be as easy as flipping his palm. However, he did not do so. It meant that he cared about the old bear. Man Xiong could also tell that Ning Fan was the kind of person who would never ask for help. However, it was his first time asking someone for help for the sake of a woman. Ning Fan's actions at this moment poked into Man Xiong's memory. Many years ago, he, Man Xiong, had also begged someone for help for his injured wife. However, in the end, he was not lucky enough to save his wife even though he begged someone for help. Only those who had experienced that kind of regret would understand how heavy it was. 3/6 revolution pills and one condition of mine. I can give you half of the star-tempering purple zoisha. What condition? To be honest, I have my own concerns about not giving you the purple zoysha. I need to consume the purple zoysha to suppress my injuries. If the purple zoysha is not enough, I might die. However, this is not the main point. The main point is that my 2 daughters and a foolish son-in-law need this item to condense their demon bodies and break away from their star spiritual bodies. However, they don't know the correct way to consume the purple zoysha. If you can help them refine the power of the zoysha, I will give you half of the purple zoysha. No. As long as the 3 of them successfully transform into demons, I will give you the remaining purple zoysha. Break away from their star spiritual bodies. Ning Fan's eyes lit up and he said with a clear voice. To be honest, Senior, I did come here to ask for the zoysha. However, I have some friendship with Man Shan. Of course, I can't ask for it for free. The 3 sixth revolution pills that I gave you in exchange are for the 3 of them. Oh. Is there really such a coincidence? If the 3 pills you brought can really help the 3 of them to truly transform into demons, I will give you the entire purple zoysha. Man Xiong said happily. Father. If you give me all of the zoysha, your injuries. The second ugly woman immediately refuted. My injuries are not worth mentioning. Man Xiong waved his hand. He was already tired of living. The reason why he suppressed his injuries and did not die was just because he was worried about these good-for-nothing juniors. Seniors' injuries are indeed not worth mentioning. If I'm not mistaken, I have a way to completely suppress your injuries. Ning Fan's words shocked everyone present. Even Man Xiong was dumbfounded. If his injuries could be suppressed and the 3 juniors could truly transform into demons, what was the harm in giving the star-tempering purple zoysha to Ning Fan? Would it be a happy ending for everyone today? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.